They've continued to work and grow and implement their program and are setting the foundation for what they want to get accomplished here over the next couple of seasons.
I think one of the most intriguing teams this offseason is the Miami Dolphins.
The Dolphins have the capital to do whatever they want.
They're competing and building a culture.
I believe in team. I would say that. If you want to strive to do something great as a group, you got to work together.
You have a plan, you stay true to the plan, you execute the plan. The Dolphins, this is how you turn around a franchise, like this.
We're trying to build a team that's going to win right now, and we'll be very aggressive.
Welcome to the field, your Miami Dolphins.
We're looking for guys who are tough, who are smart, who are competitive, love to play.
They have landed some big fish. Love what the Miami Dolphins did. You're trying to build something there.
Patrick throws to the end zone. It is Parker. Darnold never saw the pressure coming, and he is leading. Gesicki wide open. Touchdown.
Let's have some fun and play together, man. Win on three, win on me. 1, 2, 3, win.
If you can get a group of young men to band together, to believe in one another, to practice and prepare at a high level, then you'll win ball games.
Big man, touchdown, picked off by Bobby McCain.
What's good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we're back here with another one. And I'm riding solo dolo today. Your boy EM is out on the road. I'll drop the link if anyone wants to join in a little bit. Y'all can come backstage and wait. I just got to do a little bit of an opening because your boy has some absolute buffoonery I need to address. You know, it's unbelievable here. And let me start off by saying this. Me and Larry, we both use the Dolphins' whole video trailer there. Everyone knows it's theirs. The Dolphins are who all of us creators are making videos about. So, I mean, that's no news to anyone. But when it comes down to independent creators, that's where we have an issue here, people. And the issue is this. Let me just... Guys, basically what happened was yesterday. Actually, let's start this off on Thursday night. Thursday night, because earlier in the day on Thursday, I had seen a video on Instagram that I really liked. I don't know if any of you follow me on Twitter or not, but if you do, you see me drop the Marino clips. You see what I do every Thursday. I just didn't do it this last one because of all the Tua news, so I didn't want to get lost in the shuffle. Y'all see me drop the Tua stuff all the time, the stuff from training camp. You guys see me drop it. You guys see the reach that I get. I get a decent reach out there. So I hit up the creator of this video that I really liked. And I said, yo, man, I showed him a bunch of clips that I've shared before. I've showed how some of them have got 5, 6, 7, 8,000 views on Twitter. Some of them have, 200-300 retweets and about 600-700 likes. There's mods in here who can all vouch for that. So I hit him up and I said, yo, man, I really like your video. I want to share it. I think I can get a reach for you on it. And I think, you know what I'm saying? And what I'll do is when I see it, the retweets and the likes start coming in, I'll credit you right underneath. So everyone who reads the comments, as I see it starting to blow up, they'll know where it came from. And he said, yo, man, and there are mods in the chat right now who can all verify this because there are mods who have seen the text sequences. They've seen it all. And I'm not going to put those on blast because I haven't asked the creator of the video if I could do that. So I'm not going to do that. So like in terms of putting it up here for all of you to read, I did ask him if I could share it with a few people. And he said, yeah, I just wanted to let people know what's up. And basically what happened was I shared that video at 11 a.m. Friday morning. And the video is 4 minutes long, but Twitter only allows you to do about 2 minutes and 20 seconds. And I'll bring up the tweet right now, and I'll show all y'all that I ain't bluffing you. I ain't jerking no chain. I ain't doing anything like that. What's good, Rhino Sith? So basically, guys, this is what I showed yesterday. I got his approval. I don't have the audio going right now, and I'm not going to have the audio going right now because I will get copyright claimed on because of the audio he used. And this was basically it, man. I said, if the Miami Dolphins, by the way, follow your boy on Twitter, almost at 900. Let's get to 1,000. If the Miami Dolphins free agency acquisitions and the draft picks didn't hype you up enough, this video will. 30 days until game 1 of the NFL season. Let's change the landscape of the AFC East. Fins up 11 a.m. August 14th. And it is, it's the one you guys are basically already have in your mind. This is the sequence where Rage Against the Machine takes over. Because, again, I could only clip out 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So I actually had to pick a perfect time to clip out. And then going down here, if I could show you guys the tweet activity right here so y'all can see the actual reach. It's been reached to almost 1,300 impressions. It's got over 3,000 views. It's got over 1,500 total engagements, which means people are clicking on it. And then right here, and this is where we're going to. Credit to this cut up goes to the homies, Miami Sports Cheese, and of course, Joey Shots. And the reason why I'm putting this out there, guys, is they support this show. When I contacted Miami Sports Cheese directly about putting this up on my Twitter, he said, yo, man, I love your show. I love what you guys are doing. I would love if you promoted it a little bit. And I was like, yo, man, no problem. I got you. Anything you want me to promote on Twitter or on Phinside the NFL, I got you, homie. No worries. I told him that directly. He said, no problem, man. It's all good. So let's promote him before we keep going into this. I want everyone in the chat right now, because I know there's only about 30 of you, but I want everyone who's going to watch this video in the future, I want y'all to go over and show my homie, Miami Sports Cheese, some love over on Instagram, okay? He's the one. You can see the video right here, the 2,788 plays. That is the full 4-minute video. Go show this man some love, man. They used a whole bunch of different footage. They used some that we've already seen before, but then when they, especially getting the free agency part, they used other clips, and they put it together a really hype video, man. And they blended the Tua video, and they blended that trailer video that we play, and then they blended a couple other clips really perfectly, really well. Go give them credit, because my issue with this is, and you know who you are, TD, you didn't even credit this man in the comments. You just uploaded it to YouTube like it was yours about 2.5 hours after I posted it on Twitter. Yo, and I know he sent out a tweet that tagged a bunch of us, tagged Houts, the Finsider, me, Phinside the NFL, a bunch of other creators, including TD, and no one even gave that a like. All you did was you see that this man shouted all of us out because he wanted more love on it, and instead, bro, you upload it, and it's got 2,000 views, and you can't even put in the comment section that it ain't your video, or you can't even do a little opening clip saying, yo, go check out the homie Miami Sports Cheese, da-da-da-da-da. Bro, that's, yo, man, are we living in a den of thieves, bro? I sat back, and I watched a video where for over a year, as far as I'm concerned, y'all were doing the panel thing. We start shifting gears, and we can start calling ours a roundtable discussion. Dog, we can now out here jacking terminology, B? Come on, son. And then on top of that, the video content itself, let's call a spade a spade. DDW already did that. Now on top of it, I didn't say nothing, but now we're jacking now we've gone from jacking creators to now we're jacking the fan base that are out here clipping stuff together, laying over music. Man. So I'm asking everyone who's watching this, right that wrong. I want y'all to go follow this man. If you have Instagram, I want you to go follow Miami Sports Cheese. I want to see that follower count rise from 1,343. Go show the man who put the work in. And also another guy, at Joey, Joey Shotz, at Joey Shots. Go follow that man on Twitter. Those are the two masterminds behind that video, man. And we got to start, we can't be doing that kind of stuff, man. That, we're not kleptomaniacs out here. We gotta be showing love to these people. This isn't the Miami Dolphins we're lifting an intro video from. These are some guys who are trying to make it and trying to get a little bit of love out here for the hard work and what they're putting in. So you can't take that kind of shine away from them and try and snatch it, man. You already got almost 9,000 subscribers. Why aren't you crediting this man? Man, use your platform properly. That's all I'm going to say. And if you don't have Instagram, people, go follow this man on Twitter because he's the homie. They both support this channel. There's his Twitter thing. He's only got 18 followers, guys. Go show him some love. I'm following him. I want all y'all to go show Miami Sports Cheese some love because me and him talked about it, and he admitted to me he did not give TD permission to post that, and he's not happy about the fact that he wasn't even given credit for it when it was posted. So that's where I'm at with that. Go show Miami Sports Cheese some love. He's a homie. He supports the channel. He's been down. This is one of our own, Fin Nation. So go show this man some love. Go right the wrong, all right? Because I've been trying to show him love on Twitter. I've been trying to put him out there. That was my whole goal. It's all about unity. What's at the end of community? Unity. And you know what? Sometimes in unity, you got to flesh out people like, you know, certain moderators on other channels. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to drop names, but you got to flesh out sometimes to have a truly unified community. And you got to be showing love and you got to be showing respect to the people that come up. Every video that I use, if it ain't a clip from an actual game and I share it on Twitter and it gets love, I always credit the people underneath because that's what you got to do, man. You got to show love. You know, you're going to get a lot farther in this world with honey than you will with that black tar. You know what I'm saying? That negativity. So I'm just saying, y'all got to go show this man some love at MIA Sports Cheese on Twitter. And then if you're on Instagram, he's at Miami Sports Cheese. I mean, he even has some great stuff up about Kirk Merritt. He's got some great graphics y'all are going to like. He does some NBA stuff as well. He mainly Miami Heat predominantly, obviously. So go show this man some love. He deserves it, man. He's putting out hard work on the gram. He's trying to come up on Twitter. And you know what? Let's show I want to show love to this guy a little bit more because he actually does have a YouTube account. And that's where the video is from. So let's show this man some love. This is his, we'll go show this. I'll pause it. We'll let it load a bit. This is the man's YouTube. So go show this man some love on YouTube. Go subscribe. You know what? If you're going to go hit a like button, don't even go to my tweet and hit the like button. Go to this man's YouTube video. Go pound that like button, man, because he's putting in work, man. Fins up. It says right there. It's only got 548, and you can see it came out August 12th. Right there. He's only got 23 subscribers. There you go. I'm going to click the subscribe button because I totally forgot to, but I'm going to show him some support. I want all y'all to go there, hit that subscribe button, show this man support, show this man love. I mean, I want this man to continue making these type of hype videos because we can share them on Twitter. We can share them on this channel. So we don't want to discourage this guy from doing work, seeing other people get credit for his stuff. So go show him some love. Go make it happen. And Fin Nation, this is on you. This is one of our own. Go show some support, man. That's all I ask from y'all right now. All right? Rhino, what's good, homie?
Yo, brother. That's some fascinating stuff.
Man, I had to, I had to show that man his like I had to show Miami Sports Cheese his proper due, bro. I'll use my platform properly if I have to, bro. So it is what it is, man.
It's a good plan.
What's good? I see him in the comment section. What's good, Miami Sports Cheese? Again, go follow this guy if you can. I'm telling you, he's a good homie. We've been communicating. This guy's, keep putting in your work, homie. Keep doing it. We'll keep supporting you. We'll keep putting you on, bro. Our platform is your platform, and hopefully one day when we open it up, when we drop the link, I want you to come on, homie. And I'll drop it right now if anyone else wants to come on. I don't know what your deal is right now. I think you said you were going to be busy, but bro, our platform is your platform. You're welcome to come on here and talk football whenever you want, homie. All right.
282. What's going on, fam?
What's good, homie?
Chilling, man.
Yes, sir. How are you doing? Appreciate you, homie.
No problem, man. Got to get the receipts, man. Receipts is what it is, man.
Well, I just, he's on the come up, man. This kid, he's not some guy with like 10,000 followers on Instagram. He's on the come up just like us. So got to show love to him. And, that's all I can say, man. You got to help, you got to lift people up onto a higher pedestal if you have the ability to, not leave them down there. And, you try and make that step yourself. That's all,
But is that considered fair use without,
yeah,
accreditation?
I think all this stuff is when you come to how it's clipped up, a lot of the Miami Dolphins stuff does fall under fair use.
But someone puts it together. Is there a requirement to do that, to like say this person made it, or
like he won't be able to monetize it on YouTube because of the music used, so he won't even be able to make money off it anyways. Like he would have to put up his own. He would basically have to lay over his own authentic music, and then he would get because like I'll tell you right now, the intro video that me and Larry use, if Larry gets monetized, he won't get copyright claims on it.
Right.
So because if you notice, when the Dolphins actually use like the footage from TV, like with analysts talking about it, there's no watermarks from the actual stations and stuff, right? So it's the same thing with all 22. You can get away with using all 22 because it's not watermarked, right? So right. It's fair use in terms of like when they put it on Twitter, because like those videos, like the video me and Larry used, that originally popped off on Twitter. The one that I use is the Twitter version. I don't know if they uploaded one to and they're totally different standards. So that's how that falls in. I looked into that, bro. So the only thing is Miami wouldn't be able to monetize it because of the music. The Sam Cooke and the Rage Against the Machine, he wouldn't be able to make money off of it.
Right.
So, but yeah, what's good, boys?
Oh, not much, man. Watching this Portland Memphis game.
I saw you in EM.
Yeah, man. I had to do some research, man. Hey, I love my bro EM, but I don't agree with him about Parker getting a separation, man. I didn't see it on film. I had to do the research, and I think Kyle Krabs did a podcast a while back about separation. I'm going to try to find it, and I'm gonna study it. I'm gonna listen to it, but I just didn't see it on film. I see him get separation when it's about the time to catch the ball. That's what he does. He does that very well. But as far as developing into the catch, doing the route.
See, but okay. I get what you're saying, because you're basically looking on basically route running and just pure speed to create. Right? Is that what we're basically going at?
Yeah, yes. I don't see him. He's always in his pocket.
I'll just tell you this. Here's the problem with that article. They highlight Michael Thomas. And here's your problem with highlighting Michael Thomas. And I've talked about this plenty of times before. Joe Brady, all right, when he brought that offense to LSU, same offense, same scheme, same concepts, all that. That Joe Brady also, he's a former wide receiver himself, right? That whole scheme in New Orleans, just like in LSU, is built to create separation for their receivers with crossing routes, underneath concepts, with an over route over top that'll pull a defender off their spot, things like that. That's why if you look at Drew Brees, what are the things I always highlight? I always highlight his mechanical work with Tom House, and I always highlight the scheme, because he doesn't have a strong arm at all. And if you watch a lot of Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase highlights, they're going to be similar to Michael Thomas highlights, where sure, there's going to be throws where there's a guy in the area, but there's going to be a lot of throws where there's a lot of green around them. And that's the problem when they highlight a guy like Michael Thomas, because their whole offense is basically built. Like, that's why they keep going for guys like Marquise Colston. That's why a guy like if it was purely based on speed, why didn't they value keeping a guy like Brandon Cooks, right? Because it's the speed isn't a necessity in that offense, because it's going to manufacture space. All you got to do is at least be a pretty good or better route runner. And you're like Michael Thomas. I mean, like, look at Stephon Diggs, right? Why did they bring Stephon Diggs over to Buffalo because he can create separation with his catch radius. And they think they can mask deficiencies in Allen's game with bigger catch radiuses. So they're not even, Stephon Diggs is fast and a pretty good route runner, but they brought him over for the catch radius. They didn't bring him over for the route running or the speed that he brings to the game. Yeah, they're pluses. I'm not going to take that away, but that's the first thing that they're looking at. So when I look at yards of separation, I actually use it more against defenders than I use it for wide receivers, because for me, it's way more contextual for a wide receiver. And what I mean by that is, does that receiver have freedom, complete freedom of a route tree? Does he have an extensive route tree? Okay. What is he depending on? Is he a speed guy? Is he a guy with long arms and a big radius? Is he a really good route runner? What defense is he facing? When really all you're looking at a defender is how well, in man at least, is he mirroring the guy. So yards of separation in man, really, to me, you can look at that stat without a lot of context to it against a defender than I think you can against a receiver. That's what and Michael Thomas is a perfect example of that. That's just where I'm at with that stat, and I'm a self-admitted analytical stat guy. My just thing is some stats, and that being one of them, like one thing I used against Logan Ryan. Logan Ryan allowed, I think it was over 1.4 yards of separation on average. That stands out to me more than, a receiver getting 1.2 or 1.3 yards per separation, because now I got to look into why and how were they getting that separation, where it's a lot easier of a question to kind of answer, especially if you see when they first line up that defender's in man. So that's where I'm at with that stat. Like it's, I use it, but I use it against defenders more than I do for wide receivers.
Got you. Okay.
So
I know Fitz was throwing some darts though. I was watching the highlight reel. There's some good throws in there.
And did you see? Shout out to the homie Miami Alejandro on Twitter. He was getting absolutely hammered for retweeting that throw between Tua Tagovailoa and Devontae Parker from yesterday, because he called it a dime. And everyone's going, like, people are like, I guess the currency rate in Miami is different than the rest of the U.S. Like, people are like, there's no pads on. I can make that throw in my underwear too. Like, people were being a little ruthless with that. People can't let us be excited, bro. I guess that's what it is. What's good, Shake Money?
Hey, what's good, Reason? How you doing?
Shake.
How you doing, bro?
What up, Shake?
So what's on your mind, bro?
Shit, just chilling, man.
It's out here?
Yeah, just wanted to say what's up to you guys. That's all,
Yeah, man. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up, because I know EM doesn't want to talk about it today because he wants me to wait for him. I think we might be going to get live again tomorrow because of it. We will be covering Josh Boyer's Zoom and all the defensive coaches' Zooms tomorrow or the day after. But we will be covering those in specific. And I know he told me before I went live, make sure you don't talk about it till I'm on the show. So we'll be covering that for sure. So, how you guys feeling about training camp? Because Rhino, Shake Money, we've had Dolphin 82 on the past couple of shows. How are you guys feeling about training camp right now?
I feel pretty excited because we have a bunch of young coaches and they can relate more to the young players. I think they're trying to build something from ground zero.
I'm excited. It seems to be like a really good vibe. I don't know why, but our guys look like they're in really good shape. I mean, I don't know what's going on with that, but they look a lot better than they did last year. All of them.
Yeah. One word: culture.
Culture.
We haven't had a good culture in years, guys. I mean, from Gaze, Philbin, we haven't had a good culture in years.
I expected, with the whole COVID thing, that they would come in a little bit under shape, but these guys must have been hitting it when they were on their own.
They don't want to do the TNT wall. They're tired of the TNT wall from last year. Ain't nobody want to run to that damn TNT wall.
I can't wait to find out what's going on with Wilkins. Why he's lost so much weight.
Reason. That's your goal, man, this season. Why the hell
maybe he's
Wilkins lost all that weight?
maybe he's trying to add more speed to his rush set.
Yeah, but reason for DT to lose that much weight, what's going on, man? That's a lot of weight he lost.
Yeah, but he's
trying to be a defensive end.
Yeah,
I mean, technically, he is a defensive end in a 3-4. He's just a defensive tackle. That's a defensive end, right? Because he plays on the right end or the left end. We're not going to be punching him up in the middle. So I maybe he's trying to just slim down so he can get through there quicker. I don't know.
Man,
hey, for all we know, what if he was having conditioning problems last year at the end of the games? And that's why he was struggling in the first half because his conditioning wasn't where it needed to be. I don't know.
No, something fishy. Oh no, sorry, Rhino, but something's fishy, man. I don't know. I know Coach Flores does not tell everything that what's going on with Miami Dolphins, just like Belichick, but something is not right. I think he has a special role this season on that line.
What if?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he would do it. It seems like something that the team would want him to do.
What if? Well, EM Dolphins said he might be deployed more one gap concepts, but what about this? What if he had COVID a couple months ago and he just lost a bunch of weight? And he hasn't put it back on. I mean, we don't know, right? We're just speculating at this point, right?
Maybe he wasn't able to train.
No one's addressed it. I thought someone was going to ask it today when they talked to them, but they did. They talked about Wilkins, but they didn't address his weight. So I don't know, man. There you go, Nico. He's trying to get that Aaron Donald type body. There you go.
Maybe
Aaron Donald 290.
I tell you what, if he comes in that shape and plays these games in that weight, and he's attacking a quarterback, and consider the next freaking pass rusher on this team to attack the quarterback, I'd be ecstatic. I'd be super ecstatic.
Yeah, we want to see him grow off the last half of the season for sure, because the first half wasn't the best film to watch. The last half, you could see him starting to come on and get his groove and find his footing. And now he's got better players around him too. So
yeah, but you made a point last night. Like, no matter how good you are in the NFL as a rookie, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to take time to grow. You said it last night. It doesn't matter how talented you are. Chase Young is going to have his problems. Burrow is going to have his problems. Tua is going to have his problems. And we are talking top talent of college. So if y'all think these cats who come in as rookies think that, hey, I'm just going to ball out.
You know when Joe Burrow is going to have problems, and I've been saying this back since I was on the other platform. Outside, but when he starts having to go to Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and play at home in November, December with that pop gun arm strength, because people want to go off about how Tua doesn't have a strong arm. Guys, Joe Burrow has a weaker arm than Tua, and I've highlighted this. If you guys go back to my quarterback big board, one of our first videos that we dropped, I highlighted it. When you watch the film on Burrow, you really saw it on the slant routes. That's why some of the throws were high, behind, low, because he didn't have that zip to get it in on time, in place. Whereas Tua, that thing was boom, 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 boom on slants. That's why you saw a lot more slants taken to the house on Tua than you did with Joe Burrow, because Joe Burrow at the intermediate level on throws outside the numbers, and Joe Burrow on slants, there was a lot of red flags on his arm strength. And that's why I said, I was on record, he has an arm suited for a dome. And no one's going to tell me any different.
But what's the issue? What's the issue? Is the ball gets there late? Or?
He doesn't have the velocity, man. He just doesn't have the velocity.
He has to be like ahead of the throw.
Basically, he's got to like extra anticipate on short slant routes.
Wow.
Like, you can get away with it on deep throws, right? Because it's just touch. All you got to do is put it in the bucket, touch. That's it.
Throw it up.
With short stuff, especially over the middle, where you got a lot of linebackers and sometimes you got defensive ends who fall back into coverage.
Tight windows.
You got to have, tight windows. You got to have zip, buddy. That's why me and EM always talk about, sure, you want to talk about Tua's arm strength. Okay, it's not Jordan Love, who's probably armed would have been the strongest if Jacob Eason and Justin Herbert weren't in the draft. But Tua still got a lot of zip over short and intermediate levels where
he does.
It's gonna be all right, man. Joe Burrow, I think you're gonna see interceptions over the short and intermediate level.
And just to top of that, off reason, I think Tua Zip is going to get a lot stronger once he developed that footwork a lot better.
He's got pretty flawless footwork already, man. Yeah. He's got some of the best work I've ever seen at either level, man.
Yeah, he does, but I just think his footwork is going to get a lot better with around these NFL coaches. That's just my opinion. That's why I have so much aspirations on Tua, because people thinking that I think what
they're going to try and do is they're going to try and work from the hip up, and they're going to try and work on his hip. And I don't mean the injury. I think they're going to try and work on his hip movement and his upper body movement to see if they can get a little bit more velocity on his football. That's what I think. That's where I would focus. I would try and get more velocity on his football. His footwork, really come down to like how you can climb a pocket, how you can move around, and also accuracy. I don't think he has problems with his foot. I think he has some of the best footwork I've ever seen. So I would be working from the waist up, and I'd be trying to get more velocity on that football.
Reason, you guys, real quick question. As far as I hear, we have a lot of 3-4 and 4-3 defensive linemen. What do you think the percentages of us playing with 3-down linemen and sometimes 4-down linemen? Because sometimes you need the 4-down lineman when you're in the dime, or in some cases the nickel.
Yeah.
What are the percentages of playing with 4-down linemen and 3-down linemen?
I don't know. That's a good question. But if you look at Ogba and Shaq Lawson, right? Lawson's a 4-3 guy, right? So, I don't know. That's a good question, man. I can't put a percentage on that. I wouldn't be able to tell you into this. I wouldn't be able to know until I saw Josh Boyer come out there and start deploying things. I wouldn't be able to put a percentage on that. I think it's going to be all over the place, man. I know me and Ian talk about all the time about how 3-4 is our base, but don't get, but just because it's our base doesn't mean we're locked into that, right? So I don't know, man. That's a good question. I think that's why you see a guy like, we talk about a guy like Emmanuel Ogba. He's got that power. He's got that rare combination of athleticism and power. And if you look at him, he's a guy who can play from Cleveland to KC. He's been familiar with 4-3 and 3-4 concepts. Really, Shaq Lawson's the only one that doesn't have familiarity with it. So, I think that's why I think they were fine with getting a Shaq Lawson, because they're going to be playing and going to be giving enough 4-3 looks where he's going to have obviously immense value to them. Hold on, I'm just sending the link to TD right now. Oh, sorry, TD EM. He wishes I sent him the link. All right, where you at?
What's up, Havoc?
EM wants to come and get it.
How's it going? What's good, Havoc?
He's coming for you, D82. He's coming for you, bro.
No, let him come. I love EM, bro. That's why I wanted to send him the links in the email, because I want to hear his point of view. Listen here, guys.
I copied it.
I know, and we've been talking. I said, listen here, guys. When EM checks me or Reason checks me, it doesn't make my freaking damn reputation bad. I like it. That is called knowledge. The more you get, the better.
No, he's not gonna go in on you. I'm just joking with you, bro. He's not gonna say shit.
But I'm gonna still stand my ground, like everybody. I'll still stand my ground, like everybody's point. I just think Parker is not much of a separation issue, just like freaking Wilson did back in the last season. That's why I said if Gesicki starts at slot, separation is going to become a problem, because Wilson was our top separation wide receiver last year.
Yeah, but Gesicki doesn't. Go ahead. Gesicki doesn't depend on route running. Well, he's a really good route runner, first of all, Gesicki, but he's not. You got a guy that size. He's not there to get 1.5 or 2 yards of separation on you. He's up there to get the ball, come down with it, and now he's in open field, open space, and he's about to take on 195-pound DB, and he's going to blow through him because that guy won't be able to take him down, and then go. It's Gronk. Gronk depend on that kind of stuff for his separation, and it was more catch radius with Gronk.
See, Dolphin, first off, what's up, gentlemen?
Shout out. Hey, what up, EM?
Oh, it's EM. Hey,
what up, EM?
Dolphin 82. I don't necessarily disagree with your point if you're talking stylistically. You you're highlighting Jakeem Grant and Albert Wilson's individual skill set, how their MO is speed and quickness. But like I was trying to explain to you, there's a multitude of ways to separate. You can use catch radius. Players can use their bodies, obviously, in addition to route running, speed, quickness, et cetera, et cetera. So there's just don't have a narrow, mindset in terms of how players separate. It's a multitude of ways that they can generate separation. If you listen to what Chan Gailey said last week, that's the freedom that he gives. And also, I think a reason why they value different body types and different skill sets in their receiving core is because it's, again, like he said, to quote him, he said, I don't care how you generate separate. I don't care how you separate. I don't care how you get to your destination. But as long as you get there when you're supposed to be there and you make the play whenever your number is called. So like you're saying, I think my personal preference, when you're talking about the slot position, I prefer bigger body types, receivers that have a wider catch radius, because when you're in the middle of the field, as opposed to the boundary, you don't have to worry about the sideline, because the sideline is the enemy to the wide receiver. But when you're in the middle of the field, when you're working primarily from the intermediate part of the football field, the entire catch radius is at a receiver's disposal. And that's extremely beneficial for a quarterback.
Well, so I have a question for Dolphin 82 when you're done.
So when you're talking about separate, don't just think players generate separations through speed, quickness, and route running. It's other ways to separate. So if you look at how Chris Carter comes to mind when I'm making my point about players using their body just to separate. Okay, Chris Carter is a Hall of Fame wide receiver, limited in terms of his long speed, limited in terms of his short area quickness. Some people, I've heard different opinions about his ability as a route runner over the years. I wouldn't say he was like, in the category of like a Jerry Rice. I would say he was above average route runner. But one thing he always highlighted, what gave him most success, was that he knew how to use his body, and his catch radius was obscene. So when you're talking about a receiver's ability to separate, don't just box it into one or two categories. That's the only point. That's the point I was trying to make. So when you talk about Devontae Parker, okay, even though he might not, he doesn't beat receivers with, his short area burst, or even though he can beat receivers with his long speed, because he's a 4.4 guy. That's a big misconception about Devontae Parker. People forget about him. He's a legitimate 4.4 route receiver at 6'3", 200 plus pounds.
I think that's why people think he can separate with speed. I think that's why they think that.
Right. And if you go, and again, that's why I keep telling people that the growth in terms of overall Parker's game, go put that New England game on, and I don't mean watch highlights. I'm talking about sit down and watch the entire game. Parker displayed every skill set you want a receiver to have, and look at the player that he was maxed up against. He beat Stephon Gilmore with his long speed. He illustrated that the first play of the game. The very first play of the game, he got separate. He got deep on Stephon Gilmore. Okay, he displayed the growth on the route tree. Obviously, his catch radius, his ability to high point the football. He was making plays like that all day, every day. And again, go look at I forget at which point in the game where they had him operating primarily from the slot. This is a perfect illustration as to why I think I prefer big body receivers in the slot, because Stephon Gilmore or whoever they decided to put on him. I mean, you look at how in terms of Ryan Fitzpatrick's man, I drew a blank. I'm sorry, gentlemen. When Parker was lined up in a slot, look at how, again, the catch radius was at its disposal. I mean, he was putting it out in front of him. He was putting it back shoulder. He was high pointing it, putting the ball up, high pointing it for him. I mean, again, when you're talking about players' ability to separate, and when you're talking about specifically about Devontae Parker, go put that New England tape on, and he showed every way to beat an opposing team's cornerback, and look at who he was matching up, arguably the best cornerback in the league. So I mean, like I said, bro, maybe he didn't. I don't think Parker displayed that early on in the season so much as he did in the second half of the season. But I'm telling you, man, people are sleeping on this kid's ability. I see his game being more complete now. So,
I want to point out two things. Number one, first, with as far as Wilson getting more separation, do you think Wilson will get more separation if he was facing the caliber cornerbacks that Devontae Parker was facing?
No, absolutely not, because Albert Wilson is not – when teams scheme us, the opposing team is putting their number one guy on Devontae Parker. That's why I think, why his season that he had was so much more impressive. This kid, and look at the plays he was making. Tre'Davious White, Stephon Gilmore's, William Jackson III. I mean, so many top flight cornerbacks that he was able to just consistently make plays on last year. And again, that's just not like I hear, not to get on TD, but I'm bringing TD up like we had an argument months ago back on his platform about how they were trying to minimize Parker's value, saying that basically he made 98% of his plays based off 50-50 balls. In the NFL, that does not happen against NFL starting caliber cornerback. That doesn't happen on this level. So again, no.
Yeah, but even if he did, that's one hell of an impressive season of 50-50
yeah. Even that. Absolutely, Rhino. I agree with you. Absolutely. So, but again, just don't, when you're talking about receivers' ability to separate, just don't box it into one or two categories. That's all. That's the only point I'm trying to make.
And the second thing I want to bring up, as far as with Stephon Gilmore is concerned, Brian Flores was his coach at one time, and Josh Boyer was his coach at one time. Does it? Did you take into accountability that Josh Boyer knows how to attack Stephon Gilmore, and that kind of gives Devontae Parker a little edge on that matchup?
Well, I mean, yeah, coaching always helps, bro. I mean, coaching is everything in the NFL. Well, pretty much on any level. But Parker's ability, at the end of the day, Parker is a matchup nightmare physically to probably 98% of the defensive backs in the National Football League. The difference, why you see Parker now, the player that he is now, is just he's just developed over time. He's just developed other aspects of his game, and you see that with players, not just wide receivers, but every player. You have to get better every year. You have to develop more. You have to establish more ways to beat defenders. So what we saw him blossom right before our eyes last year, that's just when I see him, he just developed, more aspects of his game. And he's just, to me now, and if you look at his body type now, and you saw last year how he was able to consistently win at the line of scrimmage now, that just took his game to another level. So, he's just blossoming right before our eyes last year. And I think he probably, if he gets the targets, if they highlight him within Chan Gailey's offense this year, you can even see him improve upon those Pro Bowl numbers he put up last year.
I think Fitz rebuilt Devontae, in my personal opinion, because I would see Devontae in years past make a lot of good efforts to get separation in games, and he never had the ball thrown to him. Now the ball's coming to him.
I agree.
I don't know what they did behind the scenes, but
I agree.
I think Fitz made an effort to make him a better receiver.
But I agree. I agree with that too, Rhino.
That's very true, Rhino. Because that's a credit to Fitz, his ability to be accurate with the football.
That's why they love him.
Some quarterbacks can only deliver a football in certain ways, especially situationally. Fitzpatrick, what he showed last year, no matter what the down and distance was, no matter what the scenario was, how the game unfolded, he was able in pressure when the heat is on, he was able to distribute the football and put the football in areas where only their wide receivers can make. And Reason has highlighted that, as well as myself, about the difference between he and Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen just does not have that skill set. Only the better quarterbacks have that kind of skill set.
Well, it wasn't
Yeah,
just Josh Rosen. It was Ryan Fitzpatrick. It was Moore. Just the way it fits through to Parker seemed to me to be like a totally different quarterback process and logic. I mean, it was really nice what he did.
Yeah, I mean, just look at what Mike Evans was doing out there in Tampa Bay. Similar build, similar skill set. I mean, you can basically look at how Mike Evans came on, especially in the Fitzpatrick year when Fitzpatrick was doing well. He was just throwing it up to him, and he was making a ton of plays. And Devontae basically fills out that role perfectly, particularly if you're talking about an offense where, Fitzpatrick basically took the reins and made it work for him. I would say.
I agree. I agree.
Mike Evans, very similar skill set. I mean, look at the height. You look at the ability to go up, be physical, not just the height, but the ability to attack the ball, physicality. I mean, Devontae Parker, I think with him, a lot of times the coaching staff, particularly the previous coaching staff, didn't see the potential in him to be great.
Or they wanted him to be a certain type of receiver that they wanted.
Right. As opposed to saying you have a guy, and I often say, don't fall in love with these look the part all-stars, but he's a guy that has elite physical traits at the wide receiver position. So, as long as you just understand what he's bringing to the table and you play accordingly, he's going to be successful. And it took a couple of years to get a coaching staff in place and a quarterback in place that would allow him to be successful.
How do you think Devontae Parker did fare well with Jay Cutler? I think he did pretty well with Jay Cutler as well.
I mean,
I try to wipe that from my memory.
Yeah, I don't really see the Jay Cutler year as a particularly productive year.
Well, I'm not talking about the team. I'm talking about the chemistry between him and Parker. I think they had pretty good chemistry.
Well, I mean, I think Devontae needs a guy that's not afraid to throw the ball up to him to ultimately be effective. Sometimes, there are quarterbacks out here that, they don't want to throw out to the boundaries. They want to dink and dunk. They want to dink and dunk you to death all day. But, clearly Fitzpatrick, it's in his DNA. He's not afraid of making those throws. The Cutler, I just try not to think about it, to be honest. I just try to just chalk it up to a lost year.
Yeah, that was a great one, divorce coach.
Who?
Gase? Yeah.
Look at this guy.
There's a great one.
There it goes.
No, hold on. I gotta show everyone his name. All right. Is this guy for real?
What do you do now? Oh, I knew it. I support him too, just not right in the front.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I mean, I think as long as you got guys on your team cashing NFL checks, you want them to be successful. I think where a lot of the disparity is where people think what job people think he's fighting for.
It's hard to tell, man. I mean,
yeah, it's tough, and especially we're not getting any preseason this year either. So everything's based off practice reps.
That's why it's like not even a question of who's going to be the day one starter, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, certainly if you're talking about a scenario where you don't have preseason games, clearly that favors a veteran in any situation.
But that would be Fitz and Rosen. That's how you would think about it logically at that point, because they've both been through the grind.
Yeah. It's a very unique situation we're in this year. It's only going to favor the veterans and de-incentivize the rookies.
Yeah, you really have to take in consideration that these new guys, man, are being fed through a fire hose at this point, and you're gonna have to lean on your veterans to carry you for at least the first half of the season till these guys acclimate. So, that's probably more so a reason why I feel like we're gonna see more Fitz and to
start
and Fitz and or Josh to start, because I don't know why people want to accept this as a part of the process. But we are. I keep saying it. We still rebuilding. You know what I'm saying? The goal to go out and win games is primarily for one reason and one reason only: to keep guys consistently working at their craft at the highest level possible and keeping them motivated to be out there. You know what I mean? If you have professionals or anybody for this instance, and they know they're just going out there going through the motions just because, you're not gonna get their best. So you don't get to actually be able to see truly what you're working with. But
look at the auto I just pulled.
When he says we're trying to win these games, that's true.
That?
But at the same time, we're still in a position where we still have a lot of holes and a lot of draft picks coming up this next. The process, you know, I ain't never seen a 1 year rebuild.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. And I've heard the narrative that
would you consider the Niners?
No, I've heard the narrative that we were in the middle of a rebuild.
The Niners had injuries. They had injuries.
Yeah, I've heard the narrative that we're in the middle of a rebuild and that the rebuild is over. We're in win now mode. But we got so many rookies on the squad.
It's virtually impossible for you to
can't
ever
put that
be
expectation on us right now.
In a win now mode when you're only 1 year removed from replacing and bringing in a whole new coach, and now you're installing a brand new offensive coordinator in season 2.
This is where I push back.
It doesn't work like that. What the Niners were able to do is different, and you can't really compare the two because the Niners were unfortunately a victim of a bunch of departures and injuries that nobody expected. You know what I mean? They always had a solid core. They just had underachievement in terms of trying to find the right scheme and finding the right people to fit their scheme. That's the only thing the Niners had issue with.
This is where I push back on that.
Hold on a sec. I just pulled an auto rookie card of a Miami Dolphin.
It's just the North Carolina guy,
Jason Strowbridge. So there you go. My first ever Miami Dolphin auto.
I hope he's a Hall of Famer.
Well, his name ain't Tua, and that's all that matters right now. Anyways, go ahead, DM.
This is where I push back on that whole narrative about the status of our team being in a quote unquote rebuild. Generally, when you're talking about when teams reset, when they hit that reset button, okay, they generally do not have a quarterback in place. Okay. They are limited in terms of their skill position players, and they are limited in terms of secondary players. And why I'm highlighting those three positions is because that's the nature of the NFL in 2020. It's a passing league. So if you look at where we are in terms of our status and where we are in the quote unquote reset. We have stability at quarterback. We have stability at the skill position players, and we have stability in the secondary. So that's why I push back on that narrative that we are still in a rebuilding mode, considering with the offseason that we had and to bring in we brought in so many veteran players. Okay, in addition to the draft, in addition to the players that we developed last year. That's why I'm more inclined to believe we are in. That's why I feel like we are in win now mode because we have stability at those three key positions, which are the premium positions to win in the National Football League in 2020.
I think line because we've made investment into the offensive line. It's largely untested. Largely rookies that we're leaning on.
Hang on, I wasn't done yet. I wasn't finished my point yet. So I was going to close in. That is, the offensive line is definitely important, and I'm not trying to minimize the offensive line's value. But when you're talking about our team specifically, the only two issues, if you're gonna, if we're sitting here and we're evaluating our team, is obviously the offensive line, and obviously, on my opinion, on the interior of our defensive line. Is it a glaring hole on the defensive end? No, I don't think it's a glaring hole, but it is a concern. But I personally think with the two veterans that we brought in with Eric Flowers, which I just got the notification he was activated off the COVID-19 reserve list, but him and Ted Karras' presence alone improves the D line. I mean, I'm sorry, the O line. We can agree that on paper we have improved, and I've been consistent about this. The only question is how much have we improved?
But
got
EM,
stability. Go ahead.
But yeah, I understand what you're saying. We got better on paper, but none of these guys have played on field yet. Hence why we still in the rebuilding mode. Like the O line, who knows what the O line going to do? Wide receivers, they're injury prone. We got wide receivers coming off injuries that we don't know how they're going to play on field. Then the defense, we got a whole bunch of personnel on defense that never been played together. So we can't determine if we are in a mode to go win now.
Well, see, that's where I push back as well. That's why you have coaches, you know what I mean? And that's why you bring in players that's familiar with your scheme.
You brought one dude. You brought one guy in that's familiar.
Can I finish? Okay.
One dude.
You look at
timeout ball game.
Hang on. Shaq Lawson. I don't know who that was. It was I heard y'all earlier, but I don't know who it was that said Shaq Lawson that he doesn't have a history. He doesn't have experience.
It comes from a 4-3 defense at Buffalo.
Well, yeah. In the last 2 years, but if you recall, Shaq Lawson was drafted by Rex Ryan when he was in Buffalo, which is basically we have basically the same defense that Rex Ryan has deployed when he was a head coach in the National Football League. But you bring players in that's familiar. That's why if you recall ball game when we were talking about possible free agent targets that we could potentially be looking at in terms of bringing in to to fit our base 3-4 scheme with two vet principles. That's why I highlighted one of the players I highlighted was Calvin Noy, okay? But it was a lot of other players that come from a similar scheme, a similar principle-based scheme. And Shaq Lawson has experience. Emmanuel Ogba has experience. Obviously, Calvin Noy, in addition to Kamir Gruber-Hill, in addition to Landon Roberts. Y'all are minimizing their possible contributions this year. Are they big-name players? Absolutely not. But they're going to contribute at some point in this year. So they brought in a multitude of players that have familiarity with this defense. So what do I say? I said this before as well, some screens back. What we will see with the addition to these players that have familiarity with the schemes, one thing I'm looking for is on improvement more than anything else is the communication. Because we saw routinely last year the lack of communication, giving up big plays, guys running down the middle of the field wide open. Guys are not clear on what their assignments of pre-snap and post-snap. So that's why you bring in players that have familiarity with the base scheme. Now, the terminology will be different because that's what no team has. Everybody runs basically the same schemes. The only difference is the tendencies that coaches deploy those schemes and the terminology. And the terminology will be different. But that's why you bring in players like that. And it might be the homerism that's coming out of me right now. I might have my homer hat on right now, maybe. I don't know. But I just don't. I just do not think we are as far away as some people feel. So we'll see. It's on paper. Everything is on paper at this point. We'll see shortly.
Well, I think for me, man, the biggest piece is that I've been through this process. Maybe not at the NFL level, but every year you go through and you write down key spots that are holes that you need to fill, and you try to get guys to pull them up from the developmental JV squad, bring them up and fill those holes on your defense and things. This is high school, but it's the same process that they do, right? Or you go out and you grab someone, you go out and recruit a kid from another school that you think can come in and fill that spot for you. At the end of the day, the process still, what's on paper, about 60% of the time translates to what's on the field. The rest is coaching that has to fill in that other piece of it and bring those guys up to speed. Now, yeah, those guys might have familiarity and all that. Can y'all hear me first off?
Yeah, there's a little echo, a tiny echo.
But, at the end of the day, I say only reason I'm saying, Ian, that it's a rebuild still is because we can be as stout as possible in the secondary. We can have guys that stay healthy offensively at wide receiver. We can have the holes fixed on defense up front and be solid enough to stop teams and not be, getting gashed like we did before. But it's a whole process, man. You know what I mean?
I agree.
All facets have to be. And right now, our biggest one, although we brought those guys in, we don't know if they're going to pan out, is that offensive line. So we're going to.
I agree.
Yeah, we're going to have limited success as a team until this offensive line gels, because our offense as a whole is going to suffer as a result of their ability not to pick up the scheme early on, or they're going to flourish if they do. So,
but think about this.
Only reason I say it's a rebuild. Let me finish this point.
No, go
only
ahead,
reason I say it's a rebuild is because it's something that we have never ever done as an organization. In my 34 years of following this team, the Dolphins have never ever done in this organization what they did last year, which was take guys that nobody ever knew and put them on the football field. You sign a guy on Tuesday and start him on Sunday. We never, ever have done that. We never stripped the roster down to the bare minimum. That's really what we did. Kept a few key guys that we thought could help us to develop some guys along the way, and then start all over from scratch. And bring in a whole different coach. And mid-season, shit can the offensive coordinator, basically, and you just leave him on. But at the same time, you really got rid of him, and you let the guy that was his assistant run the show for you, in a sense. I've never seen that, so I call it a rebuild because we're trying to reinvent ourselves into this new era of the NFL.
I think, be honest with you, I think it's already been. And if you look at last year, let's take, for instance, last year, okay, with all of the influx of players, schemes, whatever, all of the uncertainty, all the off the field issues that we encountered last year as a team. I mean, we could sit here and we can make a legitimate argument that the Dolphins could have even gotten 2 to 3 more wins last year. I mean, really, with that team they had last year, with all of that storm, that cloud that was hovering over us last year, they could have easily gotten, if they would have made the moves that they made, mid-season earlier, they could have easily gotten 2 to 3 more wins last year. So I'm coming primarily from the perspective of, I saw the growth and development schematically, players buying in, number one, players understanding what their true roles are, because we know this staff is about roles. What roles you're going to play within the scheme. Players got better in that. The communication got better. But now in the offseason, what has happened is you've upgraded the talent level. So with that being said, again, everything is on paper. I agree 100%. But at key areas, in particular, stability at quarterback, stability in the secondary, because again, those are the 2 premium. You can throw pass rusher in there, but I'm not highlighting pass rusher because we don't. You know what our philosophy is in terms of having one dominant guy to amass double-digit stacks for you every year. But stability there, stability at cornerback, and again, I think our line is improved with the veteran additions as well as overall athleticism. We can agree on that. So again, it's just a question of how much we've improved. But I just think, I've highlighted the moves we made, the scheme. I think the communication up front will be a lot better, in particular on defense, than it was last year. And all of those things can equate to because if you look at the games that we lost, it was sure we got overwhelmed physically. But for the most part, it was because of guys they didn't understand what their roles was in this scheme. And we give up big play after big play after big play. Gapping in the run games. A lot of that is responsibility. Is doing what you are schemed to do within that particular play. And we saw too many inconsistencies up front. Hopefully that's eliminated. I think it will be for the most part. But the infusion of the upgrade of talent level, now that's why I'm so high on our team. And like you said, ballgame, coaching as well. So, I mean, I think we're shortchanging our team. I am convinced of that. But again, they do have to go out on the field and prove that.
What a great one thing.
Great one, solid. You thinking about Rosen?
Well, first of all, I want to address the point about Jay Cutler. I felt like he did an excellent job with Devontae Parker, considering the fact people were hating on Devontae Parker a lot before.
They were killing him, man. They've been killing him for the last 3 years, man.
Yeah, but the thing was, he was the man in that number one corner ever since he came into the league. Kenny still was getting the second corner, but the only thing with Devontae Parker was he wasn't taking advantage of that, his athleticism, being a first round pick, going up against that number one corner. That too, but also he wasn't. I don't think he was concerned as far as football wise.
He had no confidence though.
No, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear
We're
that.
talking about.
We're
talking about Devontae Parker.
No, there was a couple conversations that I Peter, him and Peter Walker are really good friends, and Pete kind of like was a mentor to him, and things of that nature to some people that they met. Right, it wasn't a confidence thing for him in himself. It was a confidence thing in regards to the staff around him. He didn't trust them. He didn't feel like they had his best interests at heart.
He didn't feel comfortable.
He's probably right.
Yeah, and he even down to when like Chris Chambers reached out to him and told him to come over and do his off-season program. Parker had said really and truthfully, like, I appreciate you, but at the same time, I got my own thing. And Devontae's always been kind of like a guy that, he believes in himself, and he's got his own team around him to help him if he need that. But at the same time, he just didn't feel like he said the staff at that present time, he didn't trust them.
Yeah, they're all doing blow on their spare time.
Gase knew that. So that's why Gase would, bogusly sit him on when he was healthy, scratch him and, all that type of stuff. But that stuff messed with him, and he just harbored a lot of bad emotions. The best thing he said, from my reports, the best thing that happened for him, he was happy, man. He danced the jig when Gase got fired.
He should have. I mean, man was holding back his career.
Yeah, he did.
I'd be glad he's leaving the building too. But I say, in regards to us as a franchise, you got to understand, just because we make investments into certain positions, it's like gumbo, right? Just because you get all the ingredients for gumbo's done when it's done. You got to put it in the pot. You got to let it cook. And when it's done, it's done. And you'll know when it's done, but you can't force the process. Much like how we talk about Tua, you don't want to shortchange the process by throwing him in right away for nothing.
Don't start that.
You want to make sure that you got all. You want to make sure you follow the process. You don't force people into positions that they don't need to be in.
But great one. Why is that wrong?
Great one cries a little bit every time he sees Tua make a throw at practice, bro.
but happy when it. I mean, Brian Flores is clearly he's clearly proven that he's not going to do that. It's about process with him. So so to your point, I think that's going to be. That's that will definitely be the approach of the staff. So I've in terms of my what I was saying about our team, the status of our team, I've taken all that into account. And again, that's why I might be a little more in terms of our win total. I might be a little higher.
Here's my problem, though.
What's your number, EM?
Like 10.
I would say between 7 and 10.
That's a
wide window. That's a wide window.
That's a COVID number.
Yeah,
that's
come on, yeah.
That's 500 and a winning season.
That sounds like you're trying to be on the side of, oh well, we didn't make it, but we finished.
Yeah.
So cool. No, we did make it. We got 10 wins. So
So you don't want to be wrong, but we're just gonna put something in the same universe.
Yeah. I'm saying
between 4 and 12 games.
This is what you do. This is what you do. What you do with predictions, bro. When you have. This is what you got to do, bro. Always predict your floor. Whatever your floor is, use that as your prediction. Because if you hit higher than that 7, you
look like a genius.
But you and everyone else who you said 7 to, they're all going to be pleasantly surprised if you hit 9 or 10.
Okay, well, whatever. Okay, if I'm gonna put my ball sack on the table, I'm gonna say 9 wins. I'm gonna say 9 wins.
Okay. So I'm saying 8.
I say
plus
7 or 8.
Plus 3
I'm with 8.
after off season and a draft. Plus 3 more wins added to that 5 is great progress, because generally, in most situations, it's generally only 2 games that most teams win in the next year after they do something significant in free agency or some things of that nature. So from where we started last year with the group, and we ended the year off to where we are
Ball
now,
game.
I'm saying
Ball game. That's also with a normal preseason and under normal circumstances.
yeah,
and training camp,
all of that.
But everybody's in that situation.
I'm saying plus
Everybody's
3.
dealing with
Hold up.
COVID-19.
I'm saying plus
Everybody's
3
dealing
because
with
we're
COVID-19.
leaning heavily on those guys that we brought in and their experience from being in other organizations and being pros to help us get those plus 3.
Hey, EM, hold on, bro.
Yeah.
So you stated earlier that we're not in rebuilding mode. We're in a winning mode. You stated earlier.
I think we transitioned to win now mode. I do believe
win now.
that,
Okay, okay, I hear you. That's your opinion. So
I
if you're in
agree
a
with
win
EM.
now, if you're in a win now mode, and your win total is 9 wins, but yet last year you claimed that we win 5 games and we could have won 3 more. How are we in a win now mode with just 1 game improvement?
Because this year with the addition with the additional playoff spot, 9 wins is going to guarantee you the playoffs.
Hold on, but okay, I feel you on that. But we all could have disagree and agree on that. 3 games we could have won last year on top of those 5 games.
I mean,
hold on, Ian. We made so much additions on the defense. We made so much additions on the offensive line. And now we're claiming to be the top defensive back, maybe 5 or 6 in the NFL if Howard plays at his top level with Byron Jones. I don't see as win now mode that we could have won 8 games last year with just 1+ wins this year.
Yeah, but
that
I
makes
think
no sense.
I think EM's math includes that the Patriots have taken a step back, and that many people don't believe that the Bills are going to be the same team that they were last year. I think that's the math.
Rhino, if you're giving the Bills too much credit, the same team as last year. They're the same team last year. We're going
No,
to
I'm
kill
saying
them
it's the
anyway.
math. I'm saying it's the math.
I'm sorry, man. That Bills team is progressing. The way the Bills are progressing is the way I hope we progress.
If we lose in week 2 to the Bills, we're losing that last game of the season in Buffalo. I'll put
more than likely.
I'll bet
the Bills are a little bit further ahead in their process.
They're deeper. They're deeper.
That's a fair statement to make.
And that's legit. And that's legitimate. But again, what do I always say about in terms of us matching up with the AFC East? We're built, okay? We're built the correct way to give these other 3 teams, their quarterbacks, major issues. I don't care how
you get rid of Jerome Baker, you not.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
But again, if we had Ben Roethlisberger in the division, if we had Tom Brady in the division, if we had Drew Brees in the division, okay, I would agree with that. But you got Josh Allen, and we all
who looks like a Pro Bowler every time he plays us.
Okay, but we're not the same team. We're not the same team, bro.
Yeah, we got to change that.
Yeah, but they improved too. They got a better running game than they had last year.
But are you that confident in Josh Allen to consistently win from the pocket? Are you?
Adding a guy like Stephon
Diggs that
improves the catch. No, and here's another thing. How do we know X is going to be fully healthy even by week 2 when we play them? Because right now, last I checked, on the pup list.
Well, that's why exactly what I said. I said on paper, we are built the correct way. They still have
but
to
what
go
does
out
paper
and
win? Paper don't win. Jack Bo.
Listen. But what did I say? They still have to go out and prove it. I'm just telling you what my opinion
here's the thing
is now.
too. A big difference between us and them is they brought back the majority of their core. We've rebuilt our core. So our core has been put together. Their core has.
Okay.
Gone to the playoffs. That's all.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's why I would.
Okay.
If I'm going to be where you're at next year after I see this team on the field for 1 year. I'll probably be where you're at. I just think where you're at is like 9-10 wins for me. Just for me personally, is a year too early. I think for the you got to take the whole circumstances, and you can say, yeah, everyone's dealing with it, but that's another thing. The Chiefs, yeah, they'll be dealing with it, but they'll be dealing with their core that they won a Super Bowl with.
That's legitimate.
Like
That's legitimate.
The Ravens core, the Pittsburgh Steelers, basically the core, and now they're bringing back Ben Roethlisberger.
That's legitimate. That's legitimate.
That's what I think that's what I think might be your downfall is if we start dealing with all this, not only COVID, but too, and we already got a team that's trying to, because we can all agree, at least with the offensive line, you're probably going to have some painful moments to watch, especially in that San Francisco game in the first maybe 6 to 8 weeks of that offensive line as it finds its groove, because you got potentially 2 rookies on the outside who haven't even taken a preseason snap. Then you got Karras, Eric Flowers, and Jesse Davis working basically on the interior with each other, communicating with each other, and they haven't even had – all they've had are practice reps to kind of get that communication down between them all. So I definitely think you're going to have a learning curve.
Well, I think in terms of San Francisco, from a matchup standpoint, our offensive line matchup against their defensive line, if you look at San Francisco last year, they were exposed in the running game.
Whoa! Wait a minute!
Flag!
Did you just say the offensive line?
Wait.
Oh, hold on! Wait a minute, Playboy. You serious?
Hey, you gonna let me? Can I finish my point? Can I at least?
Go ahead.
Can I finish my point? At least let me finish my point, please.
Go ahead, man.
What I'm saying is, if you look at my brother, I got 2 brothers, and they are diehard fans, San Francisco 49er fans, as we are Dolphin fans. And we can routinely talk about this last year, about the issue in terms of the rush defense. If you look at how, and again, it's on paper, we still have to prove that we can, the line can stabilize in terms of the running game. But San Francisco, from a matchup standpoint, they can be exposed in the running game, in particular on the interior. Just all I'm saying. So, again, you got 2 veterans. That's why I keep highlighting veterans. You have 2 guys that are good to average to above average in the running game, and Eric Flowers and Ted Karras, that veteran presence on the interior. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, but here's
ranked 12th.
Eric Flowers has only ever had 1 good season.
This is true.
And Ted Karras, for the most part, for the majority of his career, has been a plug-and-play guy. He hasn't.
This is true.
So, and then Jesse Davis, honestly, you want me to be honest with you? Call me crazy. I think Jesse Davis actually might find the best experience from the get-go, in that I just got a feeling about Jesse Davis kicking.
Maybe.
I think he learned a lot at the tackle. He's getting kicked back to his natural position if Hunt. But then here's the thing, buddy, if we're rushing the football, I'm not lining up over top of Robert Hunt, whoever my premier crash. I'm putting that guy right over top of Austin Jackson, and I'm saying get back there, because Austin Jackson wasn't his strong point.
And see, y'all are taking our line, matching up with them from a pass protection perspective.
No, he's even a run.
Hang on.
Lining up over Austin Jackson. I'm sending my premier crash to get back there.
Hang on.
Nick Bosa would beat Austin Jackson for
I would agree with that.
We don't have a guy on our line that can deal with both.
We don't have no one. Here, let me ask you this. And he's a rookie too. Okay? And let's stick with the rookies, and let's stick even with the interior guys. From what we've seen from Javon Kinlaw, I don't even know if we got someone who's going to be able to handle that guy, because you're going to double team Bosa. Javon going to come right up the middle, and I think he's on the NFC side. I think he's going to be one of the front runners for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
He's going to
eat off everyone around and get it.
Well, we have to see how that plays out. We got to let him prove it on the field, just like all.
But guys, the Niners were 12th rank in rush the last 2 years, just so you know.
Bro,
EM smoking them funny cigarettes.
If we can come out of that game, if we can just come out of that game healthy, I'm happy.
Is that elite?
No, 12th is pretty close to average.
San Francisco.
Thank you.
Hey,
so my point is, they can be exposed, right, Rhino?
He said 12.
By the numbers.
He didn't say 21st.
Numbers.
No, 12.
By the numbers.
He said 12, not
21st,
bro.
There's 32 teams in the league.
That's not even half. That's not even half.
12 means to me that they.
EM. Oh my God, dude. We had the worst offensive line last year in the history of the NFL.
Okay.
Yeah, but we don't have that line anymore. We don't have
that line anymore.
And here's
who's know that?
I don't know what we got right now.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't know what we got.
Are Brader and Howard, 2 guys who've been dealing with durability issues the past few years, are they both going to make it to week 5? Legitimate question.
This is all speculation on everyone's part. You don't know that
Paper.
You don't know San Francisco's going to come out and be the exact same defense they were.
Paper don't win ball games.
They're going to be better.
I'm pretty sure Bosa's going to be the same player we know him to be.
Yeah,
I'll say this. There's a better chance of their defense performing at the same exact level they did last year than us winning 10 games.
Exactly.
We will see how you look.
I 100% agree with you, Reason.
Yeah. We will see how you look here in about 3 to 4 months. We will see.
Paper don't win ball games, EM. I don't care what we have on paper.
I agree. I agree 100%. That's why I said they still have to go out and prove it. I've said that, been consistent about that since day one.
Here's a better question. Here's a better question. Here's a better question.
And they're basically bringing back the same defense, except they added Javon Kinlaw.
And they lost Pro Bowl. They lost a Pro Bowl.
Javon Kinlaw has a Javon, I will tell you right now,
Kinlaw gonna be a problem, bro. Kinlaw gonna be a problem.
Armstead ain't no slouch either. Who was the guy they traded to the coach? The other guy?
Bro,
Javon,
right.
They still got Solomon Thomas over there. They still got Armstead. They still got Buckner. They got Bosa. Now they got Kinlaw. Dude, we don't match up with that. Let's be real. Let's
be real.
On paper, we getting obliterated.
EM getting pissed.
No, because he's telling us not to use hypotheticals, but his whole argument is based on hypotheticals.
No. What I'm telling y'all is y'all need to stop trying to kill other people for their opinions based off hypotheticals.
No, we're not trying to kill your opinion.
We just comparing it right now. We just don't match up.
You're free to have your opinion, bro.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. EM self-admitted he's going off paper, guys who haven't performed. We're talking about a San Francisco defense that is bringing back
best team in the NFC last year.
Yeah, but I think his point was that
I was going off players that haven't established themselves. What did I highlight?
Together. We're talking about together as a unit. Establish themselves. You're not letting me finish, bro. This isn't a panel, bro. We're not doing this whole yell over bullshit. So what I was saying was, follow me here, okay? They brought back the same core and they added Javon Kinlaw. You yourself admitted all you're going off with our defense is paper because they haven't performed together on the field as a unit. There's a big difference between a team that's bringing back the core and is adding an elite pass rusher to a whole defense that's basically been rebuilt with names, free agency acquisitions, draft acquisitions, and now these guys, under all these circumstances of no preseason, COVID, they got to find their game and they got to find their footing in live, real-time action, whereas the San Francisco, other than Javon Kinlaw,
they already been tested.
Everyone else has been tested, and because they have, Bosa's going to draw double teams, so it's going to make a guy like Javon Kinlaw's. Who are you going to scheme for? You're going to scheme for Javon Kinlaw? You're going to scheme for Nick Bosa? You're going to scheme for Bosa, so a talent like Javon Kinlaw.
You still got D4 to deal with.
You got all this talent across the line that's already been proven, and they just added an elite.
That team's a problem, bro. That team's a problem.
Where the difference is. We're talking about experience together as a unit against paper as a unit. That's the difference. Okay, EM, the floor is yours.
First off, before you went on that 30-minute soliloquy, who's disputing that?
I'm glad you can count to 30. I'm really impressed you can count to 30 minutes. It was about 2 minutes. It was about 2 minutes.
I could have stopped you in your first 2 minutes. But with that being said, who's disputing that? I never said who's disputing that. I never did. One thing y'all are saying when you're talking about when you're going from year to year, when you're going from year to year.
Oh my God.
When you're going from year to year in the National Football League, we routinely have seen teams perform at a high level one year and they're not the same team the next, even with the exact same talent. Why? Because defensive coordinators have an additional year to scheme for that team. So y'all are not taking that aspect into account.
You can't scheme against a good pass rush.
Bro, stop. Let me finish. And then you're talking about, with them you losing DeForest Buckner, a Pro Bowl double-digit sack guy on the interior, you're expecting a rookie. I don't give a damn if he was picked number 1 overall to come in and duplicate that kind of production in his first year.
When did I use the word duplicate? When did I use the word duplicate? I never said that. What did I say? No. Ball game. Did I not say in 3 years, Javon Kinlaw, I said 3 years is actually what I said. And what I said is Joey Bosa, D Ford, and those guys are going to get schemed for because they've already been proven at this level, which is going to allow an elite pass rusher like Javon Kinlaw. I don't care what you say.
One-on-one matchups.
He was number 2 on your best scheme defensive tackle. You know how elite this kid is, so don't start arguing.
I'm not disputing. Again, at the collegiate level.
All I'm saying, is there's no denying. There's no denying. Yeah, but so was Tua Tagovailoa, but you got no problem.
Okay, yeah.
Going to be elite at the next level.
No.
It's the same
No,
thing.
he didn't. He just said Tua. No, he didn't.
Open up the
It's about to get real in here.
No. Let me correct you. The difference between you and me is that you have already anointed him the left arm of God. What did I say? I don't want to hear nothing about Alabama. I am evaluating him from a Miami Dolphins perspective now. He has to go out and earn it. I've been consistent about that. You're the one that have anointed him already left.
Bro, the whole reason you wanted us to draft him is because of what you think he's going to be at the NFL level, bro.
He still has to prove it, bro. He still has to go out and prove it.
That's not what I'm arguing here. I'm not arguing about whether they're proving. I'm saying it's the same exact thing with Javon Kinlaw.
That's what I'm arguing. Y'all highlighted Javon Kinlaw. You and Ballgame did. Y'all said he's going to be a problem for us day one. And, well, I'm not saying that y'all said. I was assuming that y'all were
There's only 5 offensive linemen on the offensive line.
I never once mentioned his
You're only double teaming one person.
Mentioned his sack total or his individual.
He's going to win one-on-one matchup.
I said in 3 years.
That kid's unblockable, man.
I said in 3 years he's going to be an all-pro Pro Bowl. That's what I said in 3 years.
Well, okay. Well, we'll see how that turns out in 3 years.
Let's be real. Let's be real. What he's really replacing over there in terms of production over there was 7.5 sacks that Buckner had last year and 12 the previous year before. It's not uncommon for a premier pass rusher that's been labeled at coming out of college and guys gonna see one-on-one matchups to actually be able to produce what Buckner.
I agree. I agree.
So to the argument, all we're basically saying is that I think right now, I think the 49ers, man,
it's premature to anoint our secondary one of the best in the AFC because they haven't played it.
No, because they have a track record in the league, bro.
Buddy, Xavier Howard
individually they do.
I'm not going to speak for the secondary. I cannot speak for the secondary.
Xavier's track record ends in 2018. Last I checked, it's 2020.
Yeah. Xavier got a good track record on the training table. I know that much.
But again, he has a track record in this league.
2 years ago.
Okay.
And
even if he's healthy and playing, you can't speak for the secondary.
What's his new track record? That this guy may potentially have a chronic knee injury. That's his track record right now.
Well, we'll see how it plays out. We'll see. But that's not a fair comparison because Byron Jones has a history at performing at a high level in this league.
You never saw them play together.
And that's it. Everybody else is a question mark.
And you're making the same argument for the San Francisco 49ers, and they've actually played together.
They look good on paper.
No. Listen, first off, I never said the 49ers were not going to come out and be was not going to be a dominant defense. I never said that, dude. So stop misquoting me, please. Please stop. I never said that. All I said was the 49ers at times can be compromised in the running game last year.
Yes,
that's what started all this conversation, bro.
So we already covered that. So you want to put it on two guys who, the last 2 years, have been full of durability issues and a team that hasn't been able to establish throughout the last couple of years with a brand new offensive line in front of them against that front.
We'll see.
A lot more cons. I just pointed out a lot more cons than you can pros in that match.
No. Because and another reason why I think our offensive line, the players that they brought in, they're all better run blockers than they are pass protectors. We can agree upon that.
I can't agree with that with Austin Jackson.
Okay. Well, maybe Austin Jackson. Maybe with the exception of Austin Jackson, maybe. But everybody else, they're all better run blockers. So that's why I was consistent about
Jesse Davis will be a dead body by the end of the game.
If I signed EM Dolphin fan to a contract, you would have been an upgrade in the run game, bro. That's how bad it was last year, bro.
That might be. Hey, listen, which is why they made a huge investment in free agency as well as a draft. That's why you make an investment like that.
Yeah.
So again, that's why if you listen.
Take away the number. Let me ask you this though, Take away the $10 million.
They still jail.
Hold on. Is Eric Flowers a guy with 1 year experience at left guard and the only good season under his belt? Is Eric Karras a guy who's basically been a plug and play guy? Is that really a huge investment in free agency in your interior?
Our best offensive lineman is Davis.
Again.
Because you can make the argument that your boy Jesse Davis. You can make the argument that your boy Jesse Davis could probably do the same at right guard of what Eric Flowers may be able to do this year at left guard.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, even if that happens, I mean, it's an upgrade to what we had last year.
Davis our best lineman right now.
Yeah, but that's a low bar.
I agree with you, ball game. I agree with you.
Yeah, you would have been an upgrade over what we had last year.
I think Dieter might be better. Dieter might be better.
I don't know. EM might be better than Dieter.
Dieter
might be better than EM.
Davis got Dieter beat, man.
Versatility.
Versatility alone.
But listen.
Versatility, yeah, but
I think, listen.
And I'm a Dieter fan.
Listen, this is why I've been consistent pre-training camp about what the approach will be this year. If you look at the profile of the players that we brought in and that scheme that the perceived scheme that they seem to be implementing, that's why it's going to be paramount on establishing the running game, and the approach will be more balanced. So it's easier. Linemen love, and again, I'm not comparing our line to any of the better lines in the leagues, but generally, if you ask offensive linemen, they would much rather run. They would much rather block and run in the running game as opposed to the passing game. So I think alone, if we get an improvement just with the attempts,
I'll be back. Hold on.
We don't necessarily have to be top 5 in the league in terms of run production. What did I say? 3.8 to 4 yards per carry, and just the attempts alone.
Well, he did it to himself.
Oh man. I mean,
I think he's just saying that the 49ers defense, if there is a weakness, it's the rush. That's all.
Yeah, but
that's
hold on.
what I'm saying.
I saw your comment. 12th ranked rush defense isn't elite. Okay, because top 5 is elite, but they're just on the cusp of top 10, and that's pretty damn good.
12 says to me.
That's still a playoff rush defense, though.
More than that.
Out of 32 teams, and you number 12, bro. I think that's pretty damn good.
That's pretty good.
12 doesn't scream elite to me.
16 games.
Well, but also
it screams to me that there are a couple games or 3 games where they may give up 150, 150.
But no one also said they had an elite run defense.
How many yards per game they give up?
And also we need
106 last year and 120 the year before.
Okay. Also, we need to display that we can take advantage of that. If they do have deficiencies in the run game, we have to prove
and
we can
EM is
take advantage of that.
EM is given if everything falls in line. That should happen. That's what he's saying. I think
it's like I said earlier. You know, just because you have all the ingredients for gumbo doesn't mean you have gumbo yet. It's still got to come together.
Yeah, but let me tell you this. You know how good your offensive line has to be to consistently beat the 12th ranked run defense? You got to have a
very good. Oh yeah.
Line. And we're sitting here depending on 2 rookies as tackles. I give you Robert Hunt. I've highlighted how good Robert Hunt is in the run game. Austin Jackson, I can't give that to you.
No.
Eric Flowers has only had 1 good year. Ted Karras is plug and play. And I'll give it. Eric Flowers last year was more than competent in the run game. Ted Karras, when he performed, was decent in the run game. And then you got Jesse Davis on the other side. All I'm saying is I agree with ball game. When you match them up and what's going to be coming at them, I don't like our chances that early. Now, we're talking week 14, week 15.
14, week 15, we're talking different.
We're talking different. I'm talking now we're in the first season. I've been consistent whether it's offensive line or the defense. I think the growing pains in the first half of the season due to the context of the situation going on in the league right now. And especially I've highlighted the offensive line in those growing pains. And I just think week 5, San Francisco?
Too early, man. We don't have
Too early.
I don't think so.
Can I jump in, please? First
Yeah,
of all, good afternoon,
My
guys.
man Sharif, what's going on, man?
How y'all doing, man? Love y'all.
What up, Sharif? What up, man?
EM, I'm gonna send you some more DMs. I just trying to get my stuff together, and so we'll continue on that base.
Wait, DMs about what? What are you talking about?
We were talking about kneeling.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll keep that offline.
Well, today maybe.
Keep it off.
Yeah,
We'll readdress it.
Mm-hmm. And all game, we thank you for so much of your service to all soldiers out there, men and women. What I want to compare the Dolphins defense and the offense is to what writers have been saying last year and now this year. If you follow Kyle Krabs, and Kyle Krabs is just as good as Reason in terms of draft, looking into the future of what our candidates from high school. So Kyle Krabs is just as good as Reason, and I would say Kyle Krabs. I would say Brian Baldinger. I would say Joe Shad. All of the Miami, Barry Jackson. It's really hard to get Omar Kelly to buy into any positive thing. But I would say this, in terms of where they felt last year and the interviews that they had on the Joe Rose show or the interviews that they would have on NBC Sports, I can tell you they feel very much better about the defensive line and the offensive line. And I would say when you structure, when you talk about Xavier Howard, unfortunately, we won't get to see Xavier Howard express his real talent on the same realm as the Wilson last year. His hip came around as a week 8. I don't think X is going to show you anything that he can do until after week 8, 9, realistically. When you look into the fact that our first 2 preseason games will be week 1 and 2, and the first 3 games will be very hard, we can come out of the gate 1 and 2, which would insert Tua. So we can look at a bunch of scenarios, but what I see strength in is the writers and the actual reporters, the way they look at our offensive line, especially they are high on Austin Jackson. Brian Balding is very high on him, very, very high on him. And when you look at Joe Shad, when you look at Barry Jackson, in terms of the defensive line, I think the defense is still behind, guys. I think the offense will be ahead of the defense. I don't want to say records because of the preseason, and now that we don't have any preseason, I still don't want to give any predictions. I want to watch the first 3 weeks. According to Reason, they will be the weeks that determine really when Tua gets in, and then we can go from there.
I'm surprised you say the offense is ahead of the defense. That's very surprising.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, I would say
if
so.
you look at week 9, I'll get off right now and let someone speak. When you look at week 9 on, the Dolphins were 5th in the league, and you look at Fitzmagic's numbers, he could have been a Pro Bowl from week 9 on to week 17. That tells me that the offense was above the defense. We only had 23 sacks as a defense. That's two.
But the defense did pick it up. The defense did pick it up in the back end of the season. You do know that.
I think both did.
You had to stop the running game as of week 4 and then start passing. So that tells me the running game was in there. So we had to pick up Parker and all our other studs on offense, which led us to wins.
See, I think if you want, I'm going to say this. I think one of the benefits of Fitzpatrick finding, and EM's talked about it, how he found that, you could make the argument that last year was probably his best season when it came to improvisation. Avoiding sacks on his lonesome, getting out of the pocket, moving out, making plays, that helps his offensive line look good in the stat line at the end of the day too. I think
that's true.
I think our offensive line, while you saw a little bit of an uptick, I've gone over the pass rush win rate stats of our team, right? Out of 172 qualified guys by ESPN stats last year, we did not have an offensive lineman that ranked higher than 146. in pass rush win rate. So, and that's the whole season, even when we were playing good. So I do think this is why another reason why I back EM on why I don't understand why, Fitzpatrick doesn't get the credit he does, because he really did make everyone look better than around him. And to the point where the people who want to say, and this is not harping on the player, I'm just using it as an example. When people want to talk about Josh Rosen's 9 drops, my answer to them is, okay, well, Fitzpatrick finished with the 5th most drops in the NFL. He finished with 31 drops attributed to him, and he still managed to finish with the 8th best QBR. So let's play devil's advocate. If he would have only had, hold on. If he would have only had 15 or 20 drops, you could make the argument that he could have finished in the top 5 in QBR.
Yep, that's legitimate.
So here's the thing with Fitzpatrick, that legitimate. He even rose above the drops around him. He rose above poor offensive line play, and he rose above guys who we were plugging and playing, especially in the later half of the season. Isaiah Ford, even though Isaiah Ford was clutch. I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying.
Ball game, you in school.
So, that's my thing.
I guess we're just going to exclude the first 4 weeks of the season, huh? But
but
I got the same thing. But here's the same with the first 4 weeks.
I know I did.
The comparisons aren't fair, though, bro. Because
but hold on. The first 4 weeks of the season, it's already come out that no one on that offense was grasping Chad O'Shea's. It doesn't matter if you had been in the league for 15 years or if you had been in the league for 15 minutes. It was
defensively as well. It was just too much influx going on in the first half of the year. We should just scrap that. Okay.
But I think it's so unfair to say not to exclude the first 4 games. I mean, we had guys coming out of nowhere to start literally from Tuesday, starting on Sunday, and it was happening 2, 3, 4, 5 players, and we turned over the roster. I mean, I don't know. I think it's unfair not to exclude it.
Well, I just think it was again the off the field issues as well as on the field. It was just a cloud of, again, influx of players. Players were having, and I think the reason why we had so many issues primarily on the defensive side of the football was because of the influx of players in and out of lineups. You need continuity. You need players to be able to, learn how to play together. You know what I mean? And then you already had the install itself. Just the install of the scheme itself creates a huge level of uncertainty. So I just think that's why I say I don't necessarily pay attention to the first half of the season. I disregard it for the most part.
Well, can I add this? What you're saying? You could make the legitimate argument that there was obviously some kind of disorganization going on just based off of whether you guys like him or not, whether you believe him or not, based off of what Minka said in his article where he was saying, play me at free safety, play me at – they wouldn't. They said they were going to. They gave him a couple snaps that took him away. Then what did they do the first game? They lined him up back there at free safety, and he said – I hadn't communicated with any of these guys around me before.
Exactly.
And some of these players I hadn't even talked to because it was their first week playing, and I'm back there going, "What the hell is going on?"
Exactly. So I disregard.
I'm just saying, it looked like on both sides of the ball there was a bit of disorganization going on, man.
It was a ton of it.
Last season was a wash to me in terms of being able to fully evaluate anybody. Truthfully,
hence why we in a rebuilding mode.
Week 1 through 8, man, that shit was all over the place. So for me, I didn't think it. I don't feel like it was a good season to really be honestly.
We found Parker. We found Gesicki.
I disagree.
We found Needham.
The only thing I'll say that we got out of that whole process was guys knowing without a shadow of a doubt that guys can and will buy into Flores, and they will follow him. Where he lead, they will follow.
Right.
That's true.
Because at the end of the day, we can go back and we can talk about how great Fitz was and things of that nature, but I saw a lot of 50-50 balls. And I know what 50-50 balls look like. And I saw Devontae Parker. I saw Devontae Parker going up and winning
I don't want to call you out, but you basically painted that target on your chest yourself, because you was one of the ones on TD's platform along with him and Phinside saying that 99% of the plays Brian Fitzpatrick made was him throwing 50-50 balls, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
So he didn't throw the ball up a lot of times in double coverage, and Parker came down with it.
I never said that he didn't. Y'all said that primarily is.
I will say this. Gilmore got on that touchdown. Gilmore got beat on a back shoulder throw, single man.
That's one throw, bro.
See, no, bro.
Watch that game. Watch that game, bro. Parker was in a lot of single.
No, it was many. It was many. But listen, this is what you said. Listen what you said. That's one throw. But yet, when it comes to Josh Rosen, the only two decent routes. Hang on.
Here we go with Josh Rosen now.
I didn't even bring it up. All I'm saying, I said what I said.
Oh, man.
Last season was a wash for me.
Hang on. In terms of Fitzpatrick, I advise everyone that, if there's doubt about the season that Fitzpatrick had last year, I encourage everyone to get in the film room. But to your point about making one play ball game, to be fair, you along with TD and everybody on that panel, with the exception of me and Reason, y'all were banging the table, for stretches during the season last year for Josh Rosen. And my primary argument to that was, this kid can only make 2 decent throws on one route, and that's the go route. But now you're criticizing Fitzpatrick, saying, and this
it wasn't a criticism. It's not that I didn't criticize him.
He just telling you what he saw.
That was a bunch of 50 balls out there.
Well, like I said before I made my statement, I said I encourage you to get back in that film room, because it was so much more than just 50-50 footballs. He was plays that he was making last year, bro. So many more.
Devontae Parker did bail him out a lot last year.
How do you know that wasn't play design, bro? How do you know that play wasn't designed for him to? He knew what an advantage he had with that particular DB on that particular play.
Because he was on the run the whole season, bro. He was on the run the whole time. Come on now.
One game that you need to watch.
Come on now. You know he was on the run though. He was on the run.
That game right there, you need to watch that game again.
So you're telling me having every 50-50 football he threw up, Fitzpatrick was on the run when he made the pass?
A whole lot of them.
What you're telling me?
A lot of them.
Bro, don't make statements like that. Stop it.
He was on the edge a lot.
That's ridiculous. I seen him make that play.
How much clean pocket time was Fitzpatrick getting last season? How much?
Second half of the season, Fitzpatrick had a good pocket. I'm sorry. It's a good pocket. You want to know why it was good? Because he was making the right calls instead of the other quarterback who was making the wrong calls and making other people look bad. If you go look at it, seriously.
So if the pocket was good, then why he got to be outside of it?
He wasn't. He wasn't. The problem was the first 2 or 3 games that he came in, he was. But then he made his changes as the offensive coordinator. That's my feelings on the whole issue. He took over that offense, Fitzpatrick.
And the only reason why that happened,
Fitzpatrick made many plays. Fitzpatrick made, and this is one of the biggest, why I have so much respect for what he did last year in the growth that I saw in this game. The most improvement he made was from within the pocket, on scheduled plays, pockets within making plays within the confines of the pocket, of the play that's being called. That's why. So that's why
I'm about to get in the film room tonight and rewatch some games. I must be blind. I must be blind.
So you telling me we got an offensive line? You tell me we got an offensive line with no person ranked above 146. And you telling me about clean
74 too.
In my opinion, that's skewed because his first half of the season was so bad. That's my opinion. Because the tapes don't compare. The first half and the second half to me don't compare the offensive line. And I'm not a tape guy.
Rhino, because he started playing backyard school ball, man. He had to create his own plays. He wasn't freaking going by Tangeli's plays.
He was looking like Brett Favre out there.
Come on, man.
I saw a quarterback in the pocket.
None of that stuff was designed, bro. Fitzpatrick was making
exactly game. Thank you, ball game. Somebody agree with me. The dude was playing backyard school ball.
He was running and gunning, bro.
So ball game, hang on. So you was in the offensive, you was in the quarterback room right next to.
No, you were there though, right? You were there though, right?
No, but I didn't say. I'm
Come on
telling y'all
now.
stop. No, the difference between me and y'all is that y'all say every single freaking play was a 50-50 football. And that's ridiculous.
No, we said we saw some. We saw some.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't say some. No, you
We
didn't.
did. We didn't say all. We said some.
I heard
There were a lot of 50-50 balls.
yes, but I also heard.
I stand by that. So
Yes, I also heard most plays. I heard that. I didn't hear some. I think it's fair to be a little.
I said there were a lot of 50-50
Yes.
balls.
And what I'm going off of, I'm going primarily off the tape. Off the tape. So I see Fitzpatrick make plenty of plays from within the pocket last year. Plenty. Which is another reason why I have a lot of respect of what the season he put together last year because of what he had at his disposal.
I'll say
So
this.
y'all need to stop.
I'll say this. Jad O'Shea offense is just it's really a supplant from the offense in New England, which is Brady releases the ball 2.9 seconds, right? Reason 2.9 seconds. The ball is gone from Brady's hand. So regardless of we could go in here and tell Christmas, but the ball is going to be gone from Fitzmagic's hand, according to O'Shea's offense.
I'm not sure they were running O'Shea's offense in the second half.
They were running it, but Fitz was.
All I know is when we put the nail in the coffin of the New England Patriots from Fitzpatrick to Gesicki, that came from the pocket. So, I mean,
pocket
that's all I'm going to say. I mean, we're arguing. You're arguing a mute point because one of the things that makes Mahomes great is his ability to improvise. One of the things that made Michael Vick so great was, his legs, but his ability to improvise as well.
Lamar Jackson.
I'm not going to get into this debate. This is where we're starting nitpicking. You can't take away from someone's ability to improvise and make things happen.
It's positive.
I agree.
I agree.
None of us on YouTube are out there doing that at that level. So, I mean, I'm not going to take that away from him because that right now is what's winning games in the NFL, even if he is 37. Mahomes is off doing that.
I'm not knocking what Fitz did. He did it for his team because half the goddamn team didn't know what the hell was going on the offense. So I'm not knocking it.
I don't agree with that.
Can you pull up some highlights, please?
In effect, well, we're gonna get copied. We'll get flagged.
Oh, never mind. Don't do that. Never mind.
We'll get flagged if we do. But the fact that y'all are saying 50-50 football, you know how difficult it is for quarterbacks to routinely make that play, especially when the defense knows it's coming. Do you know how difficult that is? So y'all are sitting up and saying, "Oh, 50-50 football, like that's easy. That's an easy play to make." It's ridiculous.
It's impressive.
Let's put it this way.
Ridiculous.
Tannehill couldn't make it happen for all the time.
Exactly.
Outside the pocket. Okay, I see you, Fitz. Let's go.
I think
I'm watching it right now too, boy.
Outside the pocket again. Okay, I see you, Fitz. You didn't even have 2.9 seconds.
What game?
In the backfield. Okay.
What game?
You watching highlights?
Yes, we are.
Well,
what game?
Listen.
Outside the pocket
Ryan
again.
Fitzpatrick on YouTube. You'll find it.
Listen. No. Listen, I got every game recorded on my DVR. So I can watch it.
Outside the pocket again.
Hey, listen, I'm not going on highlights.
I don't get how while we're holding a guy getting outside the pocket, making something happen because he had arguably one of the worst offensive lines in the last 5 years.
Oh my God!
I'm just having fun, man. I'm just having fun.
Yeah, but what games were those highlights from?
It's ridiculous.
Oh, all of them, really? So he actually didn't throw any touchdowns or any good passes in the pocket.
I'm not saying that. He did.
Listen.
You just said all of them. But you just said all of them.
No, you said one highlights. I said I'm watching all the highlights.
Excuse me. Well, which one are you saying that he went out of the pocket? What games is that from? Because
Baltimore first play of the game was outside of the pocket.
Okay.
Why
are we bringing up Baltimore? Why are we bringing up Baltimore? Why?
What you mean? Because y'all want to crucify Josh Rosen for not having his pocket.
You said the first four games did not be ignored.
Made a throw.
You're saying the first 4 games should not be overlooked. I'm saying it should be completely. Like they never even happened.
Okay,
like there were an
we
extra
can
4 games
skip the first 4
But then we
days.
can stop all this.
Yes.
We can stop all this crazy talk about Josh Rosen. Then
Thank you.
I have no
if you're
problem
gonna
with doing that.
If you're gonna exclude those for bitch, you gotta
No. We got 13. Hey, listen.
Hold on,
Then
ball
why
game.
didn't Josh
Hold
get
on
back
now.
in? Why didn't bring Josh back in?
Yeah, hold on now.
We got 13 games from Arizona as well to evaluate Josh
Hold
Rosen.
on.
If you're gonna exclude him, you gotta exclude him. That's all I say.
We can't because Josh didn't come back in. Josh never came back in.
All I gotta say is, I know everyone's hyped for the Tua movie, but I'm more hyped for the Josh Rosen movie.
Come on.
And I'm gonna make sure all those people who want to stand on your hill, bodies are gonna be ripped on that hill.
Hey, Rhinos, we can start from the Buffalo Bills game.
Which one's that? What number? What was that?
I'll give you the timer. It's 46 seconds in the
No. I mean, what game was that? I'm sorry.
The Buffalo Bills game.
Are you watching highlights or are you watching the full game, bro?
I don't need to watch the full game. All I got to do is sit back and look at the offensive line. I just need to look at the offensive line. That's all I need to look at.
Hey, listen, bro. You get a better evaluation when you watch every single play.
I do, but for this instance, I can see it perfectly by watching the offensive line in these highlights and how Ryan Fitzpatrick breaks the pocket and makes a throw on the run. That's all I need to look at.
But we can all agree. Go ahead, Ian.
So again, why are y'all acting like that's a negative? You want your quarterback to have improvisation of improvisation in the game.
You get riled up so easy.
Hey, Ian, don't have a stroke, bro. Damn, don't have a stroke. Calm down, bro.
Smile, brother. Have a Coke and a
You
smile.
get riled up so easy. Look at that.
That's what gives my blood pressure.
Hey, that's the passion. We got passion, boy. We can all agree. 2.9 seconds.
We just looking at the pocket right now. That's basically what we looking at.
Could you do me a favor? Could you do me a favor? Start from the 8th game on.
Keep watching them 2 a.m. Sports Center highlight. Them Sports Center 2 a.m. highlights. Keep doing what you're doing.
I'm not just for this specific point. For this specific point, you don't need to be watching no film study to see that the offensive line is terrible. You don't need to.
Could you do me a favor and start it from the 8th game on? That would be what I'm talking about.
What game is that?
What if I were to tell you? What if I were to tell you that out of the 16 sacks he had last year, only 4 of them were attributed to pressures allowed by his offensive line?
That's kind of what I saw.
What would I tell you? Because that's a freaking fact.
It's from the Jets game on. Great one.
Thank you.
And what Reason is saying is, if he were to scramble out of the legal pocket zone and he was to be tackled for the loss, the sack won't be a pressure against that player. So that means he's making a play any way he can.
Well, no, this is on Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen was sacked 16 times last year, and only 4 of them were attributed to pressures allowed from his offensive line.
So he was running out of the pocket a lot.
Well, I brought up the Dallas game.
He's holding on to the football team.
Yeah, remember that Dallas game where he almost took the safety? Look at that perfect example. The guy wasn't making his reads and he was looking around and I remember that play because I got up out of my seat and I yelled at the TV, throw the ball away.
And remember, if you listen to Reason, and if you listen to myself over this last year in terms of our evaluation about Josh Rosen, what are the deficiencies that we highlighted? Lack of anticipation, lack of timing, lack of ability to
not a good processor.
Exactly. So what he just said.
All things you expect a 20-year-old quarterback to not be.
Not to be historically bad. Not to be historically bad.
I really don't mind if he has a Matt Moore career here because he has 2 more years waiting. We don't pay him a dime.
We were cool with Sharif until you said something like that. We were so
cool with you said like that. I can be Matt Moore for 2 years.
No, he's not being Matt Moore. He'd be Aaron Rodgers right there.
It's like I say, man. Why are the Matt Moore comparisons coming in? I mean, he's a career backup.
No, he's not. He was a
Matt
starter
Moore?
for Carolina. They just couldn't sit Jake Delhomme down.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
But I'm saying this because Matt Moore caused us $8.5 million to back up Tannehill, and I think we don't have to pay Rosen, so he can be a career Matt Moore for us, and we don't pay him a dime.
Who said he wants to be a backup though?
I'm not sure he
Listen. I would be more inclined to entertain that type of situation if that dynamic didn't exist with him. Getting selected by the Cardinals the previous year, then moving off of him, trade him away, and then the Dolphins turn around doing the exact same thing in consecutive years. I don't want that. I don't want anything.
That's not his choice. That wasn't his choice.
But listen, I don't want there to be a unhealthy. I don't want to create an unhealthy climate in that quarterback room. I don't want anything derailing this Tua train. I want to be in a situation.
Yeah, that's the last thing we need is to have any excuses why Tua is not successful.
I want to be in a position to maximize every ounce of talent that Tua has. Period.
Why are you so willing to give excuses for Rosen, but you're not willing to give it for Tua? I don't understand.
I'm not giving no excuses to Rosen, but the reason why he got traded from Arizona to Miami is not his fault. New head coach came in, new general manager, and they wanted to get their guy.
Great one. Let me ask you this real quick.
It just comes off that way, man.
Real quick. You said it's not his fault. What about a player, okay, taking pride in his craft and developing and getting better, actually taking the game serious, making the game his primary focus within his life? That's not his responsibility. That's not his fault. The fact that he didn't do that. How is that not his fault?
We don't know that he's not trying.
So he came in. So he got drafted by the Arizona Cardinals in 2008.
How was it evident when they paid Sam Bradford $20-some million?
Thank you, ball game.
He was supposed to sit the entire year.
Thank you.
He's supposed to sit and learn the entire year.
Stop it. You make excuses.
We didn't give Sam $20 million.
Why you want Tua to sit in? Why you want Tua to sit in?
Stop it. Listen, y'all need to just.
So why you want Tua to sit?
Because he has a history of the hip.
I don't want to hear it.
You may not want to hear it. You may not want to hear it.
He said he's good.
You may not want to. You may not want to hear it, but that is the reality of the situation.
Hell, we got back to this damn Rosen shit.
Why I see it, y'all make all the concessions for the guy that y'all love, but the guy
So you don't love him then. So you don't love him then.
Oh my God.
So you don't love him then.
All the spade is
I know, right?
I was very clear about the fact that who I wanted to do.
I'm gonna start hitting this. I'm gonna start.
I don't have anything against the kid. He's a Dolphin, so I love all the Dolphin fans. I mean, I love all our Dolphin players.
That's great. We're not making
Let's be clear.
This isn't concessions. This comes down to using, and this is not to you, and it can't be to you. This is basically to everyone listening now. If the shoe fits, wear it with what I'm about to say. If logic and reason can't tell you that the context of the situation the world is in, how preseason has been handled, how training camp has been handled, how our offensive line has been totally rebuilt to the point where there might even be a potential that 3 rookies could start if Solomon Kinley pops off on that offensive line, let alone 2. If all that combined, not adding in the fact that Ryan Fitzpatrick's been in that offense for 5 years, Ryan Fitzpatrick knows what Flores expects and wants from not only players, but that position specifically. If all of that stuff can come together and tell you that don't matter if your name's Josh Rosen or Tua Tagovailoa, you're probably not starting week 1, then guess what? I can't help you. And you probably need to take an IQ test real soon.
How many times you think Ryan Fitzpatrick been in that Chad Osei offense before? Something similar to that.
It's part of a lot of offenses, so you probably recognized a lot of it. Some of it he must have recognized.
Listen, everybody runs the same in terms of schemes, routes, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody in the
route trees. They got more extensive route trees than any other offense for every receiver in that offense. The terminology from what we understood, what players were coming out and saying more advanced than what they're used to. That's why you see. Look at why didn't Chad Johnson, who went and balled out in Cincinnati, why wasn't he successful when he tried to go over there? He admitted
the New England offense wide receiver responsibility generally had anywhere between 3 to 4 routes built into each play.
From what I understand, it's 5 to 7.
Based on 5 to 7. Come on, 5, yeah. So if they went spread, it definitely added more when they went spread. But if they went conventional under center sometime, then the guys on the outside had 3 to 4. But if they spread out, then yeah, you give your wide receivers on the outside more flexibility to read what the guy in front of them is doing.
Yeah,
that wasn't Chad's strength. It ain't for everybody.
Right.
Yep.
It clearly wasn't for basically almost every player on our offense last year. The first half of the season.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Ryan Fitzpatrick admitted, listen, if Ryan Fitzpatrick, a guy who's been around and seen how many offenses, if that guy had a problem grasping it, and he also has, I know people harp on it, but he's not the dumbest. He's a pretty bright tool that's in the shed with that Harvard background. So he's not exactly the dumbass.
And the beard.
And if he was having problems grasping it, dude, I mean, that should show you why even more of a guy who's already not only grasped Chan Gailey's offense, he pretty much knows it like the back of his hand. Chan Gailey said this in his press conference. Ryan Fitzpatrick has the most experience out of any quarterback he's coached in his offense.
Mm-hmm.
He said that right in the Zoom. That right there should tell you it's Fitzpatrick's job. So people can be here and be like, oh, if he doesn't start day one, I've had fucking people close to the team like Alan Papar on, and I fielded that question. And he looked at me like I had a third eye. Because no, that should not be the expectation. It's the same expectation as someone going out there and saying, oh, Tua needs to throw 40 touchdowns in his first 16 games as a rookie. That's not a real expectation at the circumstances of everything going on in the world right now.
I agree.
I just the fact that I even have to explain this, you do not have to be Sherlock Holmes to put 2 and 2 together in this situation.
Don't have a stroke reason.
I agree.
Don't have a stroke, yo.
Bro, people who can't put this together, I can't help you. You're lost. I don't know what to tell you.
In terms of Josh Rosen, gentlemen, you ball game, this applies to you. Great one. Whoever, TD, whoever's holding on to that dream.
I have nothing to do with Rosen. I just want to make it clear. I have nothing to do with Rosen. I'm talking about people expecting 2 to start day one.
Oh yeah, I'm with Reason.
Yeah, I'm not to you either, ball game.
I'm with you, bro.
Yeah. I'm not talking to you, bro. I keep getting this on social media, and I see people on and I'm not talking about just content creators. I see random people on other platforms saying this, and it's like, dude, like, my God, like, Josh Rosen or Tua Tagovailoa pretty much has a 0% chance to start on day one. It doesn't matter what names are, unless it's Fitzpatrick on the back of the jersey, you're not starting, man. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah.
We know Rosen.
I mean,
we all agree on this panel that if Fitzpatrick starts, that we won't be concerned about Tua. As far as
you would be. Here's where you'd be concerned.
Where's the evidence?
Here's where you'd be concerned. You'd be concerned is if for either one of these guys. If you want to be concerned for Rosen or you want to be concerned for Tua, this is how you be concerned. If the leash is short on Fitz and he gets pulled after 3 games, if Rosen comes in, be concerned for Tua. If Tua comes in, be concerned for Rosen. That's how you play that game. You got to see what the move's going to be after the leash gets pulled on Fitzpatrick. That's how you play that game. Now, if Rosen starts, all the Tua believers, including me, yes, we should be worried because that tells me, and again, I'm putting my subjective opinion about Tua aside.
I wouldn't say that necessarily. Y'all should be concerned about.
Well, that would show me. That would show me that Rosen showed the staff that he learned the playbook better, and that he can execute the playbook better.
Hypothetically, you should.
That is not going to happen. I don't care what nobody says.
No, that ain't going to happen right now. You in denial right now. You're going to be blown when that happens.
And I'll be the first one to tell you I'm wrong. But right now, I do not see Rosen even getting a freaking smell of the first team practices in next training camp.
So what do you think, Grade One? Who do you think is going to start day one?
You're
It's gonna be Fitzpatrick
for the biggest. So they got to see what they got in everybody, bro.
Yeah, I see that. That's what they say. But my personal opinion on ball game, no, my personal. Oh, hold on, ball game. My personal opinion, Tua is a way better quarterback than Rosen. Point blank. I don't care what nobody says.
How you know that? How you know that?
Point blank. Because I watched the film in college. Because I watched the film in college. From what I see, what I saw what Rosen did at UCLA, and what Alabama did with Tua, he's way better leader, better mechanics, smarter, better footwork, pocket presence. Come on, man. I don't want to hear that. Confident leadership. Dude, have you listened to the interviews with this guy for the first 2 weeks of freaking conditioning? Everybody's around this kid already, and he ain't even throw a damn ball yet.
I don't care.
He's good, bro. He did. He came from a pro style offense, bro. They're the only team actually in the NCAA that actually had a NFL coordinator as their offense coordinator. So yeah,
listen here.
He's still that's college. He still got to do it here.
I understand ball game, but we only could
put the crown on his head right now and let him sit, let him learn, and
Hold on. Let ball game finish, man. Like, stop with this yelling over, man. We're not that platform, man. Let's let everyone have a turn. Ball game. Please.
That's all I'm saying, man. I don't want to see this kid ruined, bro. That's it.
Tua, you mean?
We spent the investment. We spent the time. We went and got him. This was a guy that we covered it, right? This was a guy that everybody wanted. So why rush the process? Let him sit. Let him learn. Let him heal.
Somebody said
he's a competitor, bro. He's a competitor.
Hey, real quick. Somebody said in the comments that we're prepared. We're releasing Adrian Colbert.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. If they release Colbert,
let me look.
If they're releasing Colbert, that means that Jones or somebody else has stepped up.
Infinite Trauma said it, so it's reliable.
Here you go. He
tweeted it.
There it is, then. That means Jones or some of the other prospects that the guys that it might even be Needham that's playing back there that's stepping up. So,
there it is for you guys.
Yep. That's big news right there, because we were talking about it last night about Colbert.
Yeah.
And
that's huge news.
You know what this shows me is that they want the players. They're not looking for the profile. They want the players.
I'm telling you guys, Bobby's going to start at free safety. Telling you right now.
I don't
want the guys that look the part. They want guys that can do the part.
Hey man, if Bobby McCain, listen, I'm gonna be as transparent as possible. If Bobby McCain put on weight and is willing to engage,
how much weight?
The physicality of that position, I'm okay with him being back there.
At least how much weight? 15 pounds.
How much weight, Game?
At least 10 pounds.
10 pounds. Last year, what was his weight last year? Was it like 190 something?
No, he wasn't even that, bro. One some games we had him listed as 187, bro.
I have our roster up. I can tell you exactly.
I'd be at least 200, man. He gotta be at least 200 to be back there for me, comfortably. But
205. He's listed as 205.
He's not
what?
He's not there.
I have it as 192, Bruce. 192 reason on Pro Football.
It's probably what his pad doing 205.
Yo, check it right now. I'll show y'all right now.
No, I believe him. I'm just saying the other side has 192. Just
after you go to Shula Steakhouse, he's 205.
Yo,
I'm 215, and I know he ain't big as me.
Here, check it. Exactly. Like I have everything unlocked for what's it called for PFF. So
my issues with Bobby McCain back there were very simple, bro. Just be willing to engage in the physicality of the position.
Bobby McCain. I'm looking at Adrian Colbert with 205.
But what weight would you say McCain needs to be at?
192. Yeah, Bobby's 190.
He need to be a solid 200.
That's what I figured. 190 something. Yeah.
200. 200. Somewhere between 200 205. You know,
we were also awarded a safety off waivers, Jeremiah Denson as well.
Yeah.
Bobby
gotta be willing. Bobby gotta be willing to engage in the physicality of the position.
All right, panel. So I got a question. I got a question, guys.
Learn how to stay healthy. That's his problem.
I got a question because Reason and EM covered it last night, and we all believe that Colbert was the competition for McCain, and we all believe that Colbert was going to take that spot. Now, since Colbert gone, who's the next dude up? Is it a rookie? Brandon Jones?
Brandon Jones.
Brandon Jones. You really think Brandon Jones is the next at free safety?
It's Frazier. It's Frazier.
Frazier from Dallas.
It's gonna be Frazier.
Okay.
I can't disagree with that. I don't know about that.
I should slide Needham back there before they go.
Sounds like a death piece.
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea what route.
I think that's the best answer. I think nobody knows.
Needham fits it. Needham fits the mold for NFL free safety. He can play.
Like Frazier.
Yeah. He got the range. He definitely got he got the speed. He definitely has the ball hawking ability. And he'll engage in the tackling aspects of it. We can't go wrong putting Needham back there too.
I would love to see them convert him.
Frazier did ball out when he got snaps too.
Frazier's 220 pounds.
Yeah, but when Frazier got snaps too, guys, he graded out with an overall 74.9 defensive grade. He's 72.4 in the run defense, and he was 66.6 in coverage, which is like basically almost. It was only 3 points lower than Bobby.
And he's 220. He's 220 right now.
6 foot 220 is what it says.
Yeah.
Who we talking?
God,
Frazier
for Dallas.
Yeah,
that is a heavy safety.
That's a beast.
Wow.
Well, he really cut his chops on special teams too, right? Like he only had, if you look at his snaps last year, he only had 6 snaps at free safety and 5 in the box, and then 2 at the slot. He was coverage, punt coverage, but he, like, if you go by, even though he had small snaps, he was majority used in free safety and in the box.
He played 15 games 2 years ago, and he played in 16 games last year. Not big stats.
But again,
he got hurt last year.
But again, I wonder who's going to be that primary backup if McCain turns out to be the starter.
I mean, it looks like it's suited up for McCain to start. I mean, he is the veteran, like we said earlier.
I think I like Roby better at free safety.
I mean, behind him.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yo, I thought Steven Barker they were going to hold on to him because he actually when he played.
Yeah, you're right. They cut him too.
Like, what are they going to? They must not only Kevon Frazier, great one, but they must have an idea for Clayton Fledgelum.
He's a special teamer.
Exactly. He's a gunner.
Concerned with him.
He was brought on only to be a special team gunner.
Yeah, but he's a gunner, but he's also had snaps at free safety in the box. Like, I don't understand what's going here, bro. It's the same with Gruger Hill. We all think Gruger Hill's going to get snaps. He had 100 snaps at linebacker last year, and he created turnovers. He had a lot of tackles, and he was actually really good with snaps. Like, I don't know.
Don't work out for Baker. Look for Gruger Hill to eat up some of them snaps.
Brandon Jones screams to me as Rose backup.
Hey, right now.
Okay.
Hey, so right now, they got your boy Seiler, Gottschalk, and Wilkins as a starting nose, end, and ends. They got Vince Eagle at weak side linebacker, Raekwon and Jerome in the middle with Kyle Van Noy playing strong side.
So they don't have Shaq Lawson starting?
They got Shaq Lawson slated right now. That's all. They got Shaq Lawson slated as the strong side linebacker behind Kyle Van Noy.
I'm not paying attention to the. I'm not paying attention. Not right now. I'm not. That's just that's all smoke and mirrors at this point.
Yeah, they're about games. Dolphins ain't trying to bring
that's a Bill Belichick move right there.
Let me ask you this, EM. I'll direct this to you. I guess ball game too, because I'm sure he's watched a lot of film on the kid. What if they're not going to start Noah Benogany in the slot? Because he's a really good tackler in open space. He's a violent guy. He has pretty good sideline-to-sideline speed. And the issues that we've highlighted is he's handsy and he doesn't turn his head back early enough when the ball's coming. Those are kind of thrown out the window when you're sitting back there on the perch. That's not really a big deal. And he's athletic enough.
So who plays slot?
I mean,
Needham.
Needham can play slot.
My first reaction was Bobby, but Needham.
Noah Benogany, he definitely has the skill set to play either.
200 pounds. Well, he's 200 pounds.
Any position in the secondary. I mean, the kid is, he plays with that level of physicality. obviously his athleticism is off the chart. So I could see that. I could see that. But again, just quick question to everybody on this table, at the table. Could it be, I'm just saying, could they might be experimenting with Xavier Howard maybe? That's why they put him on the field.
Oh, you want to throw a wrench in now?
Hey, could they potentially put him on a PUP to disguise to fool everyone, the rest of the National Football League, and they might be actually trying to make that Xavier Howard conversion to free safety? Just saying.
Well, my thing is, you can't convert someone who isn't healthy. And Brian Flores, as we know, he will never say when a player can make it back. He's just like Belichick. He's practicing, and we'll try to get him back to full speed as soon as we can. So he's not going to give advantages to other teams. So we don't even know when Xavier is coming back. I'm assuming he'll be back at full strength week 9, like Albert Wilson last year.
No. He'll be back week 1.
I think Marvin Jones has a better chance of playing free safety than Xavier.
He'll be back week 1. He'll be back week 1.
Follow me now. I think that Flores and Greer has a track record now. What I mean by track record is that if we can see Preston Wilson go from the next level to superstar level, or even I'm going to put this on a limb. I don't have a record for the Dolphins. I'll go on a limb and say this: Nick Needham and the work that he's done, I can see him surpassing Xavier Howard and getting to that Pro Bowl level this year. And what I'm saying is, I'll go back to the
calm down, G1.
I'll go back to the track. Follow me. There is already a track record for them scouting superstars. You've already seen the potential in Preston Wilson. And I'm telling you, Nick Needham right now is the best cornerback in this training camp. I don't care what anyone.
Right? Whoa!
Hey, listen.
I don't generally do this.
Listen.
All season work. I'll say this.
No, bro. No.
If he gets the Pro Bowl status, then we can say that Greer has a track record.
He's a good.
And then on top of that, we have Kirk Merritt. So if Kirk Merritt even works out to the skill set of Preston Wilson, then we know we have.
Preston Williams, right?
Preston Williams.
Yeah, Preston Wilson is the center fielder for the Marlins.
Preston Williams, yes. So,
I'm sorry, Sharif. Listen. We all know how I feel about Nick Needham. I've been driving that Nick Needham train since day one. We all know how I feel about him, but he is not the best corner at this point. And he is not the best corner on our. He's not, bro.
If he couldn't handle John Brown, he definitely ain't the best corner.
Has taken that step.
I'm putting he handled. Hey, well, you're wrong, Greg. One, he had the first game. He handled John Brown well. You can make the argument he had him on lock, bro. He played him extremely well last year. So you might need to dig up some more film on another wide receiver.
Did you see the drill where you get to lift up the tackler and you tackle the person? He basically lifted the machine and took it back 7 yards. Like, that's a tackling machine at corner with speed.
No, but that doesn't have anything to do with the fact that he's not the best athlete in our secondary.
No,
he's not. He has the potential. Listen. For someone that has watched and coached DBs for the better half of 15 years, I'm telling you right now, he is not our top dog.
Who's our top dog?
Jones is.
All right, I agree with that. I just want to hear. I just want to say somebody's going to say,
"Hey, to prove that."
But I'm talking about Greer's track record in ball game.
Listen. Here's what they did. Sharif.
We brought in our talent. I'm talking about the talent we brought in. That's all I'm saying.
It's only 1 year, though.
Here's what they did. They did a phenomenal job of going out and finding a guy that other people overlooked and gave him an opportunity to prove that he belonged. Yes,
so far,
they did that. Yes, they did that. But at the same time, you have to, before you make a statement like the one you made, you have to go and validate that by looking at what Jones did consistently for his entire time. And that's why we spent the money we spent to go get him. In the event, even if Howard never shows up. Listen,
I'm not talking about the guys who brought in free agency. I was talking about.
Let Ball Game finish his point, bro. Let Ball Game finish his point.
Even if we don't go get, let's prior to prior to anything, no one was still even with Xavier Howard hurt. There's no way. And I applaud Nick Needham. And I went on record and been on video plenty of times talking this kid up after EM was putting him in my face. I watched him. I evaluated him. I watched him grow. All these things. And I'm a fan of him now. EM made me a fan of him. And his effort on the field made me a fan of him. But he was still, even with Howard hurt, not our top guy. And then you bring in Jones, right? What Needham can do is present himself to be a permanent quality cornerback in this league with the possibility of becoming a Pro Bowler. But I'm not ready to do any of that just yet because
I agree.
I still got to see where he is coming off of last year into this year because it is customarily, unfortunately, there's usually a drop off, right? The guy had nothing to lose last year, but people know who he is now.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So who we saw him at those last 8 games of the season may not be who he is coming into this season. I hope that don't happen for him, but it could happen. But I think we need to pause and take a look at what we have. If they are making a move, right, it would be one of those two guys, Jones or Howard. And I'm with you, EM. It could very well be that's what they're doing, man. You don't have to do much, man, to learn that position back there other than just watch. You can watch that. He's a natural athlete. The transition for him, because he has natural ball hawking skills. He's not afraid to engage. The stress and strain of him having to cut and turn all the time out of scrimmage with wide receivers.
That's what I said. That's the reason why I said I think he would be most ideal conversion.
Yeah,
that's why I said his ability to diagnose. His
reading reaction. His ability to read reaction.
Better than anybody in our sector.
Better than anybody else we got on our team. Yes,
we know how physical he is. We know how physical he is in open field. Okay, we know his athleticism is off the charts. So I mean, again, I think. But listen, Bogdan, I think if early on Needham or Igbenogany or somebody else that we might not be aware of is ascending. And they are really proving to be. They can assume that number two role. I think that would be that. I think the Dolphins would be more inclined to convert Xavier Howard if that is the case. But I'm thinking my projection of Xavier Howard being converted to free safety, I was thinking more next year. But if somebody is stepping up and they're assuming that cornerback, that number 2 role, Igbenogany or Nick Needham, I think this year could be a good opportunity to convert Xavier Howard.
Think about this. Your nickel defense, where you feature Jones as the number 1. He takes the number 1 threat wherever he travels. You take Needham and lock him on the number 2. You take Igbenogany and put him on the number 3, and you got Rowe and Howard in the backfield. Is that still not a formidable secondary?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
If you go dime, then you bring Bobby in to play inside.
Absolutely.
I'll throw a question back at you guys in terms of the program that Allen, McKenzie, and Greer is doing. Obviously, I have high hopes for Merritt. We all know who has high hopes for Nick Collins, and we all know who has high hopes for Merritt. I didn't have high hopes for.
I'm coming.
I didn't have high hopes for Preston Wilson. What I'm saying is the Dolphins are building a 2-year program where you can see, and I'm telling you, Nick Needham's off season. I'm not talking about Jones. We didn't draft Jones. The program that we're running, we're bringing in studs, and they're working through our scheme, and we're going to turn them into big players. And so what I'm saying now, I want to see Kurt Merritt go to the step where Needham went, and I want to see Needham to see if he can take that step to reach the Pro Bowl status. We're going to see if Preston Wilson, obviously we know if Preston gives us the same season fully healthy. That's Pro Bowl. We all know that. So this would mean that we have a track record again of 3 players. That means year to year, we're guaranteed to bring in studs just off the insight of our scouting. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, Reason, can you put Adrian comment on a screen? Adrian Gray.
I can't for some reason, StreamYard isn't letting me go down to the newest comments. The newest comment I have is from 6:14. It's not letting me go down.
Oh, okay. I just wanted the panel to address this. Well, I'll read it to y'all. So, Adrian Gray said that they didn't pay X to play safety, just like the Patriots drafted second-round cornerback last season when they had 4 starting caliber cornerbacks because they grew up on a add cornerbacks. Pass rush is second to them.
Who's the second highest paid corner for the Patriots? I'm pretty sure he ain't making as much as Byron Jones or Xavier Howard.
Devin McCourty.
Devin
McCourty.
What are he making?
He
eating.
Oh yeah, definitely. But you got to look at when they converted him. When they converted him,
they didn't convert him till his brother came though, right?
Yeah, his brother. Though Jason was the corner.
No, they converted him before then. Devin McCourty was a cornerback at one time.
Yeah,
but they converted him. It was before his brother got there, so they converted him to a safety. And they gave him a sizable contract as well. But again, people think remember Xavier Howard's cap hit is going to be more manageable the next 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
he's not making that top in terms of salary cap number. He's not making that top flight cornerback money.
And
in the next 2 years.
And they made McCourty from corner to free safety.
Exactly.
That's the transition I'm talking about, though.
But the thing with that comment is X is not in the same position as McCourty. X has a chronic knee problem. So X can't play the cornerback role if he has chronic knee issues. It's less on impact on his knees if he's played free safety. He doesn't have to twist. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking to Andre Gray. I'm talking to Andre Gray. It's not about contract or money, Andre. It's about his knee problems right now. X would be better suited as a free safety because there's less pressure on his knees, and he has the speed and the athleticism to play that free safety. However, they all could reconstruct his his contract if they do move him to safety. So his contract is not an issue. The only contract has an issue is Byron Jones because we just got him this season. X got paid 2 years ago.
I'd love to see him at free safety, but that'd be crazy. And,
$80 million at free safety? Nah, not happening.
No, I don't want Byron. I would rather have Xavier Howard. I would much rather have Xavier. I think he just has the natural instincts that a safety. He's got him at playing corner, and if you convert him, I mean, it would be in my opinion, it would be as seamless a transition as it could possibly be. I just think Xavier Howard would be ideal. So, but we'll see. We'll see.
Unfortunately, if he's in a Todd Gurley type situation where he can't quite carry the load like he used to, and he hasn't even really displayed that he was able to carry the load. If you look at the injury problems he's had the past at least the past year, a move to free safety. I mean, you give guys like Needham and Noah the chance to eat.
Yeah,
it seems like it could work out. I think the only thing is the salary thing. But if the salary isn't as quite a hit, why not?
I think that's a plus.
And when you're talking about if this is actually on the table, when you're talking about Needham and Igbinoghene assuming that number 2 role, I mean, it's not like they're placed in a situation Needham was in where he had to take the opposing team's number 1 player every week. You matched up with number 2s and number 3s,
right?
So again, and then you can always scheme. And when you're deploying man coverage, you can always bring help to a guy that you think is going to have problems matching up with opposing receiver. In man coverage, that's another thing by scheme wise. Why I keep talking about the scheme. We're built perfect, for it to match up with these teams in the AFC East. It's the flexibility that man coverage gives you.
Well,
in terms of bringing double teams, bringing different disguises pre and post snap. So
I see a lot of cover 1 in our future.
Oh, absolutely. Cover 1 all day.
So yeah, we're at about 2.5 hours. I was actually going to come only on for an hour, and here we are. So let's go through some final thoughts. Ryan, I'll start with you, and we'll work our way down to Havoc, and then Sharif, and then Ballgame, and then Gray 1, and then EM, and then D82. Rhino? All right, Havoc, floor is yours. Final thoughts?
Fins up all day, every day. That's all I can say. You know, if you see when you see Mac Hollins at Wingstop, tell your boy I said what's up. Get the wings right. Half garlic parmesan, half taco habanero.
Stop disrespecting boys from the crib.
That's Benedict right there. It's all good. It's all good. Never love for you, homie.
Sharif, any last thoughts?
This one, yeah. I just want to say Reason and EM, some of the very best. They get in there, highly touted, deserve recognition now. All of the great guests that he has on the show, and more to come, more prestige guests to come. And I want the Dolphin fans to continue to support him and support EM. I will say this. I think if Greer, McKenzie, and Allen keeps fluxing in players and they don't make it and we get rid of them, at the same token, you can say we're bringing in a lot of pieces and then finally one gem will stick. Because I don't think Iguavin stick, and I don't think Juarez Nato stick, even though they move him to offensive guard this year. So let's bring these guys in and someone will stick. Needham stick. Merritt, I think this dude, did you see the vertical he did? 62 inches. I can see him jumping for a ball in the end zone like that. That's Chris Chambers days. So if someone will stick, and I'm depending on Merritt, I'm depending on Needham to take that Pro Bowl step, and I'm depending on Preston Wilson to take that Pro Bowl step. That would
Williams.
Yeah, Preston Williams. I'm depending on that because that'll tell me that they have a track record for
Somebody
finding.
give a shot with Albert Wilson leaving, so opting out. So
Ball game. Final thoughts?
Man, I just I just want everybody out there and fan world to be realistic. Like we have an opportunity to be special for a long time to come. I've seen great talents come into the league and then get abused and kids lose their love for the game and never see anything ever out of them again. I don't want that to happen to us. I'm hoping that we follow through with a lot of what Kansas City did with Mahomes. Sit to her, let him learn, let him be fully 100% healed, past what he believes in his head is healed, and let the magic happen down the line. I mean, what's the worst thing that happened? We win 3 more games than we did last year. It's not like we've ever been in a position we've been in a position a long time. It's worth waiting to see exactly how great this thing can actually be. We don't need to rush out and make a lot of rash decisions that wind up setting us back, is what I say. And support all the players, regardless of whether you have a favorite or not. They're all Dolphins until they're not on the Dolphins roster anymore. So support them all.
Great one, DeVore.
I'm gonna go ahead and piggyback off of what Ballgate just said. Support all the players, they're still on the roster. They're still part of the Miami Dolphins family. Don't write them off just yet. Excellent show, by the way, y'all. Reason and EM.
And yeah, guys, go make sure you go subscribe to Great One DeVore. I know Sharif was talking me and EM up a lot, but Great One does a great job too, guys. So go make sure you subscribe and go through his videos and hit the like button on as many videos of his as you can. Just show some love. D82, what's good, homie?
What's good, homie? Great show, man. You know, a lot of knowledge on the panel, and can't wait to do this next time. Can't wait till the season start. I'm looking forward to the show after each game, man. I hope everybody comes on after the panel that Reason and Ian about to start to each game this season,
bro.
man.
It ain't no panel over here. It's a round table, brother.
Hey, Great One, are you still doing the games
table,
live?
my bro, round table.
Considering how I'm about to have a newborn, we're gonna try to fit those in somehow.
All right.
There you go.
Congratulations, man.
Hey, so
What do you do? What do you
We're
do?
doing Madden now until 21, so I can start beating the EMs for some more money or what?
There you go.
I'm about to be broke. I need some diaper money.
Yo, he backed out. He backed out. I think he left. That's hilarious. Everyone needs diapers and wipes. EM. It's time for Friday Night Monday.
Diapers, wipe, and formula.
Carlos, no, there's no news on my jersey. I guess it's still expected for December 1st. I've got every other piece. I wanted to, guys, I'm just gonna do this quickly because Infinite Trauma DM'd me, and I guess because of how I started the show off, he was going back and forth with said person, and I guess we're doing a little bit of a PR safe face game where we're talking about how they were supposed to collab, and he was kind of putting our boy Ahmad Infinite Trauma on blast. So I just want to put this image up quickly here, and this is just being Miami Sports Cheese, and we're going over here about how basically how his video was used without his permission, and he also wasn't given it a credit for it. And you can see right there, he says, yeah, I noticed that, shaking my head. Thanks for the heads up. And yeah, same here, bro. Your podcast is nice. Thanks for sharing my stuff and crediting it. I really appreciate that, man. So Infinite Trauma, this is for you, because anything you've heard today, it's clearly a little bit of a PR cleanup because he got put on blast a little bit. So that's where that's all coming from, because as of yesterday, there was no talk about permission being shared. So I just want to put that out there, because I know now a narrative is going to try and be spun, and this is actually what went down, people. So that all said, go follow Miami Sports Cheese on Instagram. Go follow him on Twitter. At Twitter, he's at MIA Sports Cheese. On Instagram, he's Miami Sports Cheese, and you can also find him on YouTube, Miami Sports Cheese. Great guy. He supports the show. He shows love. He's just trying to do cut-ups and some edits and some hype videos to come up. So everyone go hit the like button on the hype video he posted. Go hit the like button on Instagram if you have him on Instagram, on all of his posts. Show the guy mad love. He deserves it, all right? Other than that, I appreciate everyone for coming out. I appreciate everyone for coming on live. I know EM's not here, but I appreciate you too, homie, even when you're not right about the San Francisco 49ers. I love everyone. I hope y'all have a good weekend.
Fins up.
You Sunday or Monday. We haven't hammered that out yet, but we'll see y'all sooner rather than later. Fins up all day, every day. And everyone,